7 minutes after 9 o'clock. Thanks very much for joining us. You're on 702. Clement is not here. My name is Thabo Shole-Mashao. I'm thrilled to be with you to spend the next 3 hours discussing this, that, and the other. I look forward to your interactions. It's always a busy day in South Africa, as you might have heard from my colleague Bongani Bingwa in his show, morning breakfast show, that a lot is happening. Malusi Gigaba is bound to hand himself in. It is suspected, or speculated, I should say, that it's got something to do with the locomotives procurement, but that is yet unclear. It will obviously be confirmed as the story develops. It looks as though quite a lot is going on, and of course, it's also been reported that Senzo Mkhunu, who's on special leave, Minister of Police, should also hand in his gadgets very soon. That's very interesting. Those developments, I'm sure they will interest you greatly. I'd love to hear from you about all of that and more, especially on the open line. Generally, I want to dispense of everything else that we had prepared, because I'm sure there's quite a lot that is on your mind, and this is your opportunity to ventilate on those issues and more. The open line from 9 to 10 o'clock, and also on the open line much later on, we'll touch on some matters of gratitude. We want to understand, what is it that you feel grateful for? Clement has that as tradition that every Friday he opens the lines for Gratitude Friday. I think it's such a beautiful thing. We can't always be drowning in the mud, in the dust, in the cesspool of politics. I think every now and then we need to be cognizant of things that are happening around us that we are truly grateful for. So I look forward to your calls. 011-883-0702. That's where you can get hold of us. 011-883-0702. For your voice notes and your text messages, feel free to call 072-702-1702. You could have a view or two. Much welcome. From 10 o'clock across the desk, and we will be chatting to HR specialists, human resources specialists. They don't just snitch on employees. I'm kidding. They do have quite a lot to do. They are obviously professionals in charge of training, recruitment. They're generally the heartbeat of any organization. And without them, really things can fall apart. And HR is also very interested in shaping the culture of a company. So I want to know from you about your HR manager. What's your relationship with your HR personnel, wherever it is that you work? Do you go to them? Do you trust them? Are they doing what they ought to be doing? Or are you treading very carefully as far as HR is concerned across the desk between 10 and 11? That's what we'll be looking at. And then much later on, 11 and 12 o'clock, relationship focus. You do know that I don't move furniture, right? When I'm standing in for Clement, I leave things just the way they are. So the furniture is here, and the relationship focus is also here between 11 and 12. And we want to ask, when should couples seek counseling? It is said that a number of couples only consider counseling 3 years after problems have emerged. And at that particular time, it may be a little too late. Resentment has seeped in, and perhaps discontent has grown. You do not look at each other in the very same way. You are angry, you are bitter. And for some reason, it could be that it just may be too late because quite a lot has happened. But when is it that couples should seek counseling? Should it be by appointment? You'd say every second month we go for counseling, whether we have problems or not. So on Relationship Focus, relationship coach Lee Joy, very competent Lee Joy, will be here to give us those insights. It could be that you need counseling yourself right now and you don't know how to start. If I'm asking you to be open and to be vulnerable with us, I suppose I must also do my bit, right? Generally, I am hesitant about counseling. Generally, I'm not saying you shouldn't do it. I'm talking about me. I'm telling you about me. And I'm not right. I am not right in any way by thinking that. But we are all influenced by, I suppose, our environments, people around us, where we come from. So I am prone not to, but I'm open to persuasion. So please feel free to chat. That's between 11 and 12 o'clock. But for now, I would love to hear from you. The Malusi Gigaba matter on the table. The cards are starting to fall apart, and I would love to hear from you about that. But also, here's something that I came across yesterday. Nancy Pelosi, she's about 83, 85. Remember, she was short at some point. She used to be the Speaker of Congress in the U.S. She is a very formidable, sharp, and competent Congresswoman. She knows what she's doing. She holds power to account. She holds the executive accountable. She's a Democrat in the U.S. I'm sure you know Nancy Pelosi. She's about 83, somewhere there, 83, 85. And the reason I'm talking about her and I'm bringing her up, she says she will quit Congress in 2 years' time, in the next elections. In 2 years' time, that's when she'll quit Congress. Batung, you should have quit 20 years ago. She is 85, 83, 85. Why is she still there? And she's talking about quitting, not now. She's not quitting now. She wants to quit in 2 years' time. African leaders come under serious scrutiny and criticism when they're holding on to office. And of course, this is something different. I understand she's Congresswoman, but that's a position of power. So it brings me to this. When is the right time for people to quit, especially if they occupy public office? If a bank wants to keep someone until they're 91, I don't have a problem with that. Let them do it. But public office, the Department of Education, the Department of Science and Technology, Energy, or any public department, I think people should be made to leave work round about 60, 65, somewhere there. You can't be there forever. By the way, including our politicians, those in parliament, including presidents, deputy presidents, ministers. Guys, you cannot be holding on to jobs and you are 75 years old. Let other people come in at that particular point. You can't be doing that. And I'm not an ageist at all because I'm growing myself. But when you are in public office, you must remember that you have no entitlement whatsoever. The space you occupy, earning taxpayers' salary, clearly, you should be allowing someone to do the job, unless you want to tell us that you are indispensable. Why are we allowing our politicians to be 80 years old, 90 years old, and still in office? Yeah, the mind can be sharp, I agree. But let's all also agree, you are not as agile as you used to be. You are not in your 40s, you're not in your 50s. Dare I say you're not even in your 60s. Make the circle bigger. Allow others to come through, guys. Or am I just being too much? Let me know on 011-883-0702. Abel, the show has officially begun.
Africa Milani.
Weekday mornings,
4 to 6.
Are you a member of the MK party or did you just vote for the MK party?
No, not a member. I just voted for the MK party just to spite the ANC out.
William, you voted for whom and why?
Africa, I voted Paituk alliances, but I feel like it's scared because now what we see in the Malano Commission, how they're exposing the president practice, making criminals.
Zuki, if an election was to be held tomorrow, do you know who you would voting for?
No, I think in the last election. Listen, I have an idea. I have a short list.
Africa Milani.
4 to 6 on 702.
Day 20, awaiting proof of payment. Day 30, still waiting. Day 40, funds finally cleared. In business, credit with 55 interest-free days keeps you moving. We get it. Get an ABSA business credit card. Use over 50% of your credit and initiation fees will be on us. Offer ends 31 December 2025. Apply at absa.co.za/business. ABSA is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply. ABSA, your story matters.
Before a masterpiece takes shape, there's a single line that starts it all, until every curve and every angle reflects the clarity of a single vision. And only then does inspiration take its final form. The all-new Audi A5, designed to inspire. Starting from $14,499 per month with a guaranteed future value. Visit audi.co.za or your nearest dealer for more. T's and C's apply.
The Dial-A-Bed Black Friday sale is now on with 20% off absolutely everything. Start Black Friday shopping today and save thousands on all our best brands. 40 Winks, Sealy, Simmons, Dunlopillow, King Coil in all sizes, all less 20% and all ready for fast delivery. Dial-A-Bed, sleep for life.
702
Let's walk the talk on 92.7
and 106 FM.
011-883-0702, 011-883-0702. Just a quick recap. The former Public Enterprises Minister Malusi Gigaba, you might have heard that is expected to appear in court over charges that are relating to procurement at Transnet. Some are speculating that it might have to do with the locomotives. That is yet to be confirmed. This morning, he said that he'd been informed by the NPA that he was asked to attend to court. He was asked to attend court, and there he will be formally charged in connection with the ongoing proceedings related to procurement activities at Transnet. And a lot will be happening in Transnet in the next few weeks. As you may know, some of the executives and top management have had cases being opened against them, and those will unfold in the news as days proceed in the next week or two. 011-883-0702. I'd love to hear from you. Mike, you're in Joburg. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm free, Mike. How's it going with you?
I'm good, thanks. I just wanted to ask someone, just talk about Nancy Pelosi for a little while. Nancy, as the Speaker of the House, which she was for a few years, meant she was third in line to the U.S. presidency. Did you know that?
Yeah, I do know that.
She was already in her 70s and also into her 80s at that point. The reason why, and the only reason why there's no criticism to such people in the world press is because she's white. It's a simple equation. That's why you'll find leaders in Africa who are older. President Ramaphosa is a fine example. Or even worse than that, Helen Zille, who faces no criticisms whatsoever. She's in her 70s, and she should, come on now, she should be long gone. She's still hanging on to fables about her time in apartheid South Africa, where she pretends that she was a real activist. These people need to go. They need to be replaced with younger, more free-thinking people.
Yeah.
And also Mandani is a slap in the face to that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Why have white people all over the world just condemning for no reason at all?
Sure. Thanks, Mike. Hold on. Before you go away, yes, Helen is 74, and she will be trying to become the mayor of Joburg. She'll be vying for the position of the mayor of Joburg next year. I suppose she'll be 75 or odd. So that's one. But help me understand, and I know that people will give me flack if I don't ask you about this. You are saying that the reason that Nancy Pelosi, Helen Zille, and others are not questioned about their age, it's because they are white. That's what you said, right?
I'm saying exactly that. When has anyone brought that up with Helen Zille?
Well, it was brought up, I think, a week or two ago. It was brought up about a number of people, including, I think it was from Bossa. It was brought up that she is old.
Bossa is irrelevant to a small little party that doesn't talk for anyone.
Yeah, but so, you see, here's the thing. Mike, you can't have your cake and eat it. You said it was not brought up, and then when I say it was brought up, now you're shifting the goalpost. That's not the right way of arguing.
I'm just saying that Bossa doesn't speak for me. And what I'm also finding is that you and
ANC, I'll say ANC doesn't speak for me, despite them having 40%, right? But that doesn't cut the cheese. It doesn't mean anything. If ANC says something, or even, I mean, I'm going too far if I say ANC. Patriotic Alliance, I'll say it doesn't speak for me at all. But what they say matters nonetheless. And this is not about BOSA generally.
BOSA is just another name for the DA. Basically.
Okay, let's talk the principle. Let's not divert and digress and use BOSA as...
Then we will talk the principle.
Yeah.
Fine. She was asked the question, but it took so long for it to actually happen. She should have long been out of politics. Let's be honest about that. A lot of our leaders in the ANC or in the like should. I mean, I'm a proud EFF member. I know that my leadership is pretty young.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty happy
Well,
with
there's
that.
Mam Kaula as well in Parliament, you know. I don't think you're off the hook that easily.
Sorry, who?
Mam Kaula in Parliament, you know, the lady in Parliament from your EFF party? Yeah. Well, I don't think she's a spring chicken.
Is she in the leadership? No, she's not.
She's in Parliament. Nancy Pelosi is in Congress. Yes.
There's a reason for that. We need to be representative of all of our all our constituents. So we will take from every part of it. But she's never going to be Speaker of the House. She's never going to be the President. She's never going to be a minister. It's true.
Okay, so in short, you are saying that those who are a little bit over the hill as far as age is concerned must take a backseat.
Let's say 60, that's when you should resign because you're just not in touch.
Yeah, okay. Listen, I share, believe it or not, I share your views. The only one that I wanted to interrogate was that we don't only speak about them. President Zuma has been attacked. It's been said he's an old man. He must just leave politics. You've heard about that.
No.
I'm sure you've heard about that.
I completely understand. I mean, when President Mandela came to office, he was already very much an old man.
Yeah, and he did the right things. Yes.
We understand that. But I mean, even Thabo Mbeki thereafter. Look, I'm no fan of what our older leadership has done in South Africa.
Yeah.
But I understand that there was a transition period that needed to be filled by older hands.
Yes.
Now that we're a more mature democracy, it's time for us to move and decide.
Yeah.
And not follow the Western world in their decrepit ways.
But lastly, quickly, Mike, speaking about the South African political context, a number of leaders would tell you, especially who come from the liberation movement, they would argue that they'd spent a number of their years fighting for freedom. Now that freedom is here, they want to enjoy some benefits of freedom, not just as an exercise of polity, but also the existential element thereof. They want to feel the financial, social, and other whims of freedom. Meaning that, like Smarts and Gonyama said, they didn't go into the struggle to suffer. They feel, a number of them actually, they're not going to say it, but they are saying we did not work enough to accumulate some pensions. We were fighting in struggle. Now that we have an opportunity to be in government, we are going to milk it for what it is.
I'm sympathetic to this argument. However, I don't think that. I think that the pension should show their status and what they've done for the community. So they should be paid well. They should have been given beautiful housing, whatever it might be. They should be exempt from taxes. All of these things. That's how we should reward them. But putting them into positions now where they are hurting the country is problematic, right?
011-883-0702. Mike, thanks for that, man. Mike in Joburg, 25 minutes after 9 o'clock. Let's go to your voice notes on 072-702-1702.
Thabo, the difference between Nancy Pelosi, who's 85, and African leaders who are in their 90s is they are dictators, they are despots, and they rule with an iron fist. Nancy is in a world democracy. She's very competent and she deserves to be there irrespective of her age. She might not be able to run, but the mind is still sharp as a razor. On the issue of counseling, I think we black men don't really like that idea. We don't believe it. That's why we suffer so much. This is Papla.
Let's walk the talk.
702.
Good morning, man. It is such a rare occurrence that a former minister hands himself to the police. So we don't know what is at play, or is he playing politics? And I really wish other politicians could follow suit, and let's see how it will pan out. But yes, We need this. Thank you, Mr. Malusi Gigaba, for handing yourself over.
Hey, good morning, Thibo. I'm grateful for life, man. I'm grateful for life. You know, if you walk around, you look around, people are suffering. I'm grateful for that I can be able to put food on my table. I'm grateful, very, very grateful. You're speaking to Mketi here, Mketi Hlakwane in Sebokeng. Thank you, it is a great show.
Oh man, Mokete, that's wonderful. That's really wonderful. I'm happy. I'm happy that you sent that in, because at times we wait for that big car, you wait for that big house, you wait for that cushy job, you wait for tons and tons of money before you become grateful. And at times we lose sight of what's important, which is right in front of us. And in case you're wondering why we are talking about that, it's Gratitude Friday. Clement always touches on that, and so do we on this Friday. I'd love to hear from you. Yeah, Papla, I take your call, I take your sentiments, and I take your thoughts. You are saying that the mind is still sharp, right? But if the agility of the body is compromised, will you be able to wake up at 1 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the morning if a crisis hits the country? If you are needed to, the aches and pains, will you be able to handle so many flights, changing from this airport to the next, and really doing some grilling work? I don't think so. I suppose, well, even when the mind is very, very sharp, you can still compromise your country or your responsibilities by not being physically present. You can't always delegate. You can't always offer advice from the comfort of your bedroom. At times, you must wake up. You must be there. You must make things happen. And are you not going to be sleepy? Are you not going to be forgetful? Are you not going to be slower and hold things back? I think, honestly, people who stay beyond the age of 60, 70 are really selfish to a large extent. It's about them. And you think that every single person can be replaced. I know the Department of Education in Gauteng, for one, has issued a circular that has tried to attract those in that department to leave their jobs ahead of the pensionable age. And they're offering them, I think, lucrative sums of money and benefits and incentives to an extent where they're saying, if I'm not mistaken, every you will be paid 50% of your salary for every month that you don't work for a period of a year, something like that. And those who work for the Department of Education in Gauteng, please feel free to call in and correct me. But I know that there's a circular, I had sight of it, that is encouraging them to leave before pensionable age so that they can make room for younger teachers who are coming into the system and who do need experience and also save themselves some money. 011-883-0702, exactly 9:30. Sfiso Zulu standing by to give us the very latest eyewitness news headlines. Sfiso, good morning. Welcome.
Thanks, Thabo. Good morning. Suspended Police Minister Senzo Mchunu has handed over digital devices to members of the Political Killings Task Team related to an ongoing investigation. Mchunu spokesperson Thembiso Mshengu confirmed that a search and seizure warrant was executed yesterday, with members of the task team informing Mchunu about their intentions before arriving at his residence. It's understood that a previous attempt to obtain Mchunu's devices was unsuccessful. EWN understands that the case relates to defeating the ends of justice opened by KZN Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. In another development this morning, ANC-NEC member and former Minister Malusi Gigaba is expected to appear before the Specialized Commercial Crimes Court after handing himself over to police this morning. Gigaba is currently at the Investigating Directorate offices in Pretoria East. He faces allegations of state capture-related corruption, reportedly stemming from his tenure as Minister of Public Enterprise prices between 2010 and 2014. And US President Donald Trump expects a US coordinated international stabilization force to be on the ground in Gaza very soon. The multinational force, likely to include troops from Egypt, Qatar, Turkey and the United Arab Emirates, is part of Trump's post-war governance plans for Gaza. The plan helped lead to a fragile ceasefire between Israel and Palestinian militant group Hamas last month, but the humanitarian crisis in Gaza has not abated. Those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 10 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic is brought to you by cars.co.za. Let's find what moves you. Karabo, what's the latest on our roads?
Well, looking pretty quiet on our roads. No serious accidents have been reported. At this point, we just have roadworks. This is in the Kelvin Alex area on the N3 southbound, causing some delays between the Bethlehem Interchange and London Road. Also, expect some delays in the Edenville area traveling towards Bedford View on the R24 westbound between Edenville Road and the Gilulis Interchange. Look out for those faulty traffic lights in Randburg at Malibongwe and President Fushia, as well as in Rand Park Ridge at Payos Nodia and the N1. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Do you want to buy a Honda? Cars.co.za. Toyota or Mahindra? Cars.co.za. Do you want to sell a Cherry? Cars.co.za. Suzuki or Mercedes? Cars.co.za. Polo, Kia, Mitsubishi, Havel, Hyundai, Lamborghini. Buy and sell, it's very easy. All you got to do is type Cars.co.za. 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 Let's find what moves you. Cars.co.za. Cars.co.za.
702 Afternoons.
With Relebogile Maboja, 1 to 3 p.m.
What it is you are done helping with can be lending money, sharing a Wi-Fi password. Abdul in Midrand, go ahead.
Hey, Rebogile, you know, some years ago, man, a family member approached me and said to me, hey, my son needs employment. I managed to get him an interview and eventually he was hired. But things didn't work out between him and the company there. One day I was at a family gathering and I heard some whispers and it came to my ear that I knew that the company was bad for him. Why did I get him a job there? And my boss on the other hand was like, you recommended this guy, and I was now the bologna in the sandwich.
The bologna in the sandwich.
702 Afternoons.
With Relebogile Maboja.
Let's walk the talk. The unexamined life is not worth living. Socrates' timeless wisdom reminds us of the power of introspection. At Plus 94 Research, we delve deep into data, uncovering insights that drive meaningful decisions. Our scientific methodologies transform questions into clarity. Don't just operate, understand. Don't just guess, know. Plus 94 Research, the science of decision making.
Tip your way to glory in the Hollywood Bets Punters Challenge, the free-to-play horse racing game with daily cash giveaways and massive jackpot prizes. Pick all the winners on the race card and you could win 100,000 Rand. Bet 50 Rand or more on your selections using the Bet Slip feature and you could walk away with 1 million Rand. Visit punterschallenge.hollywoodbets.net today and tip your way to the top. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counselling line 0800 006 008.
LLB graduates can fast-track their legal career with the Law Society of South Africa's PVT School for Legal Practice. LPC accredited, this 4-month practice-ready course, which is taught by practicing lawyers, can reduce your PVT contract by 12 months for admission. Study by day, after hours, or via distance at campuses nationwide. The first 2026 intake runs from January to April. Applications close 31 October 2025. Apply now at lssalead.org.za. That's lssalead.org.za.
Join us.
Let's walk the talk.
This is 702.
24 minutes to 10 o'clock. Thabo in for Clement. We're together till 12. 011-883-0702. I would love to hear from you. We've touched on a number of things, and I see that your text messages have been coming through. Let me do justice to them.
Thabo, I think these ministers, they are trying to avoid the humiliation that comes with being arrested. So they, for instance, go and say we're going to hand ourselves over. I think what's her name again? The former parliamentary speaker, she did the same thing. So they're probably exposed to some inside information that, oh, you're going to be arrested tomorrow. And they wake up and say, oh, I'm going to hand myself over. I don't buy this handing myself over story.
Yeah, and that voice note, not text message, that voice note comes on the backdrop of us asking about Malusi Gigaba. If you've just tuned in, it is said that he will be handing himself over in connection with some issues at Transnet, procurement matters to be precise, and he will be handing himself over, former Minister Malusi Gigaba. 011-883-0702. James, you've been holding for quite some time. Thanks for your patience. Welcome.
Hi, Thabo. How are you?
I'm free. James, how are you?
Sure. Thabo, I don't think that, as far as politicians are concerned, you can just put a 60 years as a cut-off time. I mean, look, I agree that the extreme cases, people like Deli Jordan, Helen Zille, Museveni, Paul Biya, and the list is long. Jacob Zuma, for instance. I mean, he has been there. He has done everything politics. What else is he going to do?
Yeah.
Those are extreme cases. But you cannot just say a cutoff is a 60 years because look, I think another thing. The previous caller talked about race being an issue. I agree to an extent, but for me, I think the issue is that in Africa, for instance, politics is the only career that pays very well. And then young people want to go into politics very early because that's where there's money. That's where they're going to be given an opportunity to tender and be billionaires, over time. So for me, I think young people must just, after completing their degrees, they must be innovative. They must be creative and create companies, to understand. And then, maybe that way we'll be able to control,
Who's
the
going to represent their
unemployment.
interests in a political fora?
Look, it's not all youth go to companies other than go to politics. But this cry of young people wanting to go to politics is because of unemployment, Look, obviously there will be young people who will be in politics. And then, but for instance, I don't think that a person must just complete a PhD at the age of 30-something and go into politics. It's a waste of
Why not?
time.
Especially if perhaps your
Well, he
paper,
can. Look,
if your paper was on the Southern African political landscape post 1995 or whatever it is. I'm just coming up with this very stupid topic. I'm saying that it could be that your qualifications are streamlined to a political field.
Well, you're protected by the Constitution to go wherever you want.
I know, but we're
can do that-
expressing,
but
we're expressing
for
views
me-
here. Yeah.
No, I understand, but for me, I think when you do PhD, you are doing it so that you can be, a creative. You can come up with, you can develop the country. So going to politics with that kind of a qualification, for me, is a waste of time.
But here's
Because
the
remember,
thing,
politics-
James. Allow me to deposit something before you go, right? One might argue and sincerely express that it is very important for our politicians to be relatively young. You have the campaign trail, you have the rallies, you have all the festivities, you have grilling meetings that can go into the early hours of the morning. You must entertain also your networks, your sponsors, and your potential funders as well. You must be able to move around the country, if not beyond the country, and travel extensively. Do you think an 83-year-old is suitable to do all of that without somehow compromising any mission of any political party that they may be representing? Worse off if they're in public office, compromising both you and I. I mean, you know how many meetings are being postponed. You mean I was listening to the news today, and they were just speaking about possibly when Bongani was speaking about the 10-year-olds who fall pregnant, which is another scary issue, by the way. And the president was mentioning that they are in in good time they will be passing legislation that I'm like, when is good time? It should have been done 20 years ago. But such is the nature when you have people who are old and tired, always postponing things to tomorrow, because they know that chances are tomorrow they may not be held accountable.
No, Thabo, look, I'm not nullifying that argument completely. Like, that is why I mentioned people like Denny Jordan and Helen Zille.
Yeah.
And all of them.
Interesting examples.
Those are extreme examples of people who are very selfish. I mean, Helen Zille, what is she going to offer? Denny Jordan, he's been there, and he's not. He overstayed it. And then many of them, Paul Biya, so those extreme cases. But I'm just saying we must be careful of saying at the age of this age, 60, 61,
I see. So case by case.
Has not been to politics. Yes, I mean you can't. I mean, really,
Helen is very agile. Helen, to be honest, I mean, I'm not a fan at all. But she's agile. She's physically present and she moves around and she is agile. So if we are going to say that, you'd be contradicting your very own argument, because then we must allow Helen to skip the list that you've given.
Well, if people think she's agile, she can campaign, maybe we shouldn't disqualify the question of age. I'm just making that
I hear you.
Age of 74 as an extreme case. I'm saying that people like that, especially Helen Zille, she's not a good example because she's been there before. What else is she going to offer that she couldn't offer before?
You look at Museveni walking and you're thinking, bro, you should be with your grandchildren playing, messing around and giving them sweets.
But young people, Thabo.
Thabo,
but young people must not look at politics.
What is young? What is young, James?
Well, let's use the South African benchmark of 35. When you finish your degree at the age of 24, you are a very intelligent person, and then you are an MP. Okay, well, it's a good money. You will do well. But, I would have thought that maybe the good thing that you want to do for your country is to, if you are maybe an engineer.
Yeah, but Julia said that age was already running the country, and I'm saying that in inverted commas. Julius Malema at that age. Musi at that age was already a vocal person, and I think he was the leader of the opposition at that age. So all I'm saying is that there's also something to be said about it.
There'll always be exception.
Sure.
But it shouldn't be, young people must not just go out and say, no, people at the age of 60, 65, they must retire.
Fair point. James, I really appreciated talking to you. 17 minutes to 10. Mushere, always lovely chatting to you. You are in Pretoria West. Hi, welcome.
Yes, Thabo. Look, man, Thabo, just quickly on the issue of age when it comes to politics. Thabo, we need young people who will take decisions that will really take our countries forward. If you look at Africa, some leaders they've been there for quite a number of years. But if you look at the development of those countries, there's nothing that is coming that really will benefit the young people. We need young blood, people who will look at the future and also innovative. Because they're making rules and legislation that is governing us. And when you look at labor, there's an age restriction that when you reach this certain age, you need to retire. Why can't we have the same thing with politics?
Exactly. As if it's rocket science, ne?
We need young people who will take decisions that will take the continent forward. Not people who will want to remain in leadership, saying that we have
sure.
as you said,
but you didn't call about that. There's something that you called about.
Look, man, the issue of Malusi Gigaba is long overdue. We have been hearing or seeing a number of political figures who have been implicated or alleged to have participated in corruption.
Yeah.
But going as business as usual, where we don't see these people appearing in court, where the court will clear them. Most of them, they'll go and appeal until the case just... You look at the issue of H. Mahashul. When are we going to see people who have alleged to have participated in corruption appearing before court, where the court will clear them? Then they can come back to the society. If they need to, there's question to answer, and they happen to be found guilty, they need to be arrested like everybody else who are participating in corruption and also crime, who are in jail wearing orange overalls. Why can't we see these high-profile politicians also being arrested and like everybody else?
Moshere, interesting point. Here's an interesting text message that came on 072 702 1702. It says, "Hi Thabo, those old leaders do not put themselves in those positions. Someone does. People who are benefiting from putting them into those positions should be blamed, not them as such." Quite interesting take. I agree with it. And another text message says, "With aging comes a lot of loneliness and fear. So I really do not blame that young at heart, gentle lady. Let's allow her to soldier on." And coming from Badi, I am very much interested in what you have to say, and I'll just read some more text messages as we go on. But John has been holding for some time. Thanks for your patience, John. You're calling from Sentin. Morning.
Good morning, Thabo.
Morning, sir.
Look, I've got there are two points here. Okay, the one is that this guy was just said that these guys don't put themselves into those positions. That's exactly the first point. Don't blame those guys. Blame yourselves because you put them in there. Okay, that's the negative side. Let's look on the positive
No,
side.
who? Before we go to the positive, I just want to understand. Who put them there? When you're saying don't blame them, blame the people who put them there.
Pelosi did not put herself there. She was the Democrats voted, and then they decided that this is the lineup that goes into office. So that's what has happened. Okay,
I see.
We mustn't beat about the bush. It's us who put them there. So let's not blame them. So we have a mechanism to take them out.
Yeah, but you do know in South Africa it's a different context, right? People vote for a party, and individuals within the party are nominated on the party list. So general South Africans did not necessarily put Gwede Mantashe there.
Let's not vote for the party. It's as simple as that.
But how do you know who they are going to place there?
No. There are two things here. One, vote for a party, get 2/3 majority, change the constitution so that it doesn't work that way. That's the only way. If you have to be democratic, there's no other way.
Sure. And no party would want to do that currently, because that is serving their interests to have this system. I mean, you saw how they fought up in arms. Parties who claim to be democratic in nature, they fought up in arms when the court declared that independence can also stand for the national and provincial elections. They did not support that legislation. Many parties didn't, because it benefits them to stand as a party and not to have individuals messing up the system that they are so protecting.
But Thabo, with due respect, that's a defeatist attitude. So it means we are doomed. We cannot be right. We cannot. Yes.
It could also be devil's advocate that I'm playing, not necessarily defeatist.
I know.
Sure.
I know. But what I'm saying, that's a defeatist attitude.
Sure.
Surely we have it in our hands to change it, and in fact, we can get them impeached. We can do anything. The system still allows that until we set up a system that is pro us. It's for us.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the negative side I was saying.
Yeah.
The positive side is that the country is heavily invested in Pelosi. They've spent money, time, and everything.
Yes.
Two. Okay, you must just hear me out there.
Yeah.
Because I'm getting to.
I have to go to a break, so please, I'll keep quiet for you to listen. Yeah.
Okay. So we're heavily invested in Pelosi. She must do her bit. If it means 150 years old, so be it, because we're putting it there, which is the sector. Now, let's look at this one now, which is very critical for South Africa, is that in South Africa, the youth don't understand that you need social mobility. I don't want Thabo's child to be doing what my great-grandfather did in 1926. That's where the Chinese will kill us, you see.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have social mobility, you must see the adult, okay, as a person, a mentor, somebody to learn from, so that I take it from where he is. I don't go 20 years back.
Yeah, we have to leave it at that. John, appreciate it. John from Sempton, 10 minutes to 10.
Part of the 702 family.
Hi, my name is Mbalenhle Felicity Ngubane, and I'm from Johannesburg. I'm staying in Malaysia currently. 702 helped me through my depression, my divorce, COVID, So I'm very, very happy that 702 helped me through all of those years. And I'm still going to continue listening to you guys from the morning to the evening. And yeah, thank you, 702.
Welcome to our 702 family. Let's walk the talk.
Get ready, South Africa. Mzansi Ballet proudly presents Sean Bovim's Private Presley, the ballet, a spectacular reimagining of the life and legend of Elvis Presley. From his military days to his greatest loves, experience the king of rock and roll story told through breathtaking dance. Starring international ballet sensation George Wade from Mexico as Elvis and South Africa's own prima ballerina Angela Rivi as Priscilla. Beautiful singers Logan James and Patience Mahema bring some of his unforgettable songs to life. Don't miss this wonderful tribute on stage at Peter Turin Theatre, Monte Cassino, 24 October to 30 November. Book now at Web Tickets.
The Dial-A-Bed Black Friday sale is now on with 20% off absolutely everything. Start Black Friday shopping today and save thousands on all our best brands. 40 Winks, Sealy, Simmons, Dunlopillow, King Coil in all sizes, all less 20% and all ready for fast delivery. Dial-A-Bed, sleep for life.
Building a life across borders starts with choices. Visas, a second passport, citizenship, your child's education abroad, and sometimes those choices can be overwhelming. For 30 years, Sable International has simplified global mobility, including cross-border tax, forex, and wealth management, helping you make the right choices with expertise and care. Build your future beyond borders. Visit us at sableinternational.com.
For more about 702,
Go to primemediaplus.com.
7 minutes to 10 o'clock. Welcome back. Thabo in for Clement, together with you up until 12. Thanks for joining us. And if you have just done that, we have been touching on a number of issues, including the Malusi Gigaba matter, handing himself in over the Prasa matter. Also, we were chatting a little bit about Nancy Pelosi. She's about 83, 85, and she's about to she says she'll only resign in the next 2 years. She's been in politics or in that role of Congress for over 40 years. Over 40 years. And she says she'll only resign in the next 2 years. I thought she was calling it quits right away and saying, I've overstayed my welcome. That is too long. And some of you have made examples by some of our leaders. President Jacob Zuma, you can see the man is tired. Yes, he dances around, and yes, he jumps around. I've got respect for him like I do for everyone else and everyone else who's older at that age. But you wish at times he could just perhaps chill at home, have ice cream with grandkids, fetch them from theater school, crèche, and then take them home on the way, buy them pies or something, and attend their soccer matches. And he's not the only one. There are many in South Africa. When you look at Gwede Mantashe, you also wished, like, Baba, why don't you just chill, take the kids to school, and attend to some errands here and there on Saturdays, catch their basketball match, or whatever it is. There are many. And I'm not picking on them because age is one thing that's very interesting. If we are lucky, all of us will end there. And I suppose, should I get to that age, I would also want some slack, right? But to be honest, you are not doing the country any favors if you're holding on to that position. There's someone more agile, more sharper, who could be occupying that space, younger, who could be occupying that space. Why is it that it's good enough for you as politicians to put up legislation as to when people should go and retire and place their pensionable age in our laws, but that those same laws are not applicable when it comes to your situation in Parliament? So we must be subjected to the laws that you put there, but you are not subjected to them. Guys, no. At the age of 75, I think you just need to be chilling a bit and saying, guys, I'm calling it quits. I'll run my own business. I'll be a consultant if you need to be a consultant and make money. But you can't be actively occupying public position, public office. That can be okay. You are denying us the freshness and agility of people who could make do with that particular position. 011-883-702. Abel, do you have some voice notes?
Morning. Morning. Is a question on my side. Why does it seem like these high-profile people, when they get arrested, they don't actually get arrested? They just get informed that you must appear in court. There you will be charged. Wherever it's ordinary folk like you and me, the police will come in their van and actually arrest us. How come the ordinary people are not given the same courtesy? Anyone can just lecture me on that one.
Good morning. Let's not be deceived by the fact that Malusi Gigaba handed himself in. It's politicking. They think we are stupid. We must listen to them and watch what they are doing and think we're going to vote for them. That's actually not correct. The next thing, just out of line, NHI. They want to push NHI so that they can loot. They must wait for elections, then the next government will decide what they do with NHI. Thank you. That's Madam.
Well, I suppose we have to leave it at that. Interesting views. 3 minutes to 10 o'clock.
The G20 Summit coming to Johannesburg is a stepping stone towards a brighter future for the city. Josie My Josie has launched the Babize Bonke campaign to shine a spotlight on some of the extraordinary champions who are reshaping Johannesburg from the ground up.
My name is Grant Ngobo. When Galanche first opened, I was 14 years old and worked my way up, and now I lead the organization at the age of 27. From the 51st floor of Ponte, we run inner city tours and community centers at the bottom, challenging stereotypes about Hillbrow, Berea, and Yuva.
Josie My Josie is making the invisible visible, giving the voiceless a voice. It's a movement for the people, by the people, creating a city that we can proudly call Josie My Josie. Come see how Josie does it. A city that's alive, ready, and rising. Prime Media and 702 are proud sponsors of Josie My Josie.
Josie My Josie, Babize Bonke champion Grant Ngobo will be interviewed on Weekend Breakfast by Gugs Mhlungu just after 8 a.m. on Sunday morning.
702 is in conversation with the Glass Recycling Company on 702 Drive with John Perlman, discussing the hashtag Glass Recycling Challenge and how small actions can lead to big change.
What is the Glass Recycling Challenge and how do people take part?
Our goal is to collect 280 tons of glass packaging, collect your used glass bottles and jars, and then you need to find your nearest glass bank at tgrc.coza. It's a really simple way to recycle. Collect all the glass, put it in a box, and then you can win prizes by taking a snapshot, a photo of you on your recycling trip, post it on social media with the hashtag Glass Recycling Challenge, and then you can win.
The Glass Recycling Company, hashtag Glass Recycling Challenge.
The DP World Lions are ready to defend their legacy of champions, but a hungry challenger is in town for the T20 Challenge. This Saturday, November 8th, the Pride of Jozi faces the newly promoted high-flying Mutiram Tuskers, the team that swept the Division 2 trophies last season and is eager to prove they belong in the top flight. Witness the ultimate contest at the iconic DP World Wanderers Stadium. The action starts at 1 p.m. Back the pride of Jozi at the DP World Wanderers by purchasing tickets to all 3 T20 matches and stand a chance to win a VIP experience for you and 3 friends at a Joburg Super Kings match. Tickets at Ticket Pro or visit the DP World Lions website. The World Test Championship final mace will be on display throughout the stadium from 12 onwards.
Before you throw it away, think again. Join the Glass Recycling Company's Recycling Challenge this November. Collect your glass bottles and jars, drop them at your nearest glass bank, and help your city climb the leaderboard. Each bottle counts towards a cleaner South Africa. Post your recycling pics on Facebook with hashtag Glass Recycling Challenge and stand a chance to win 5,000 Rand. Let's shatter records and clean up our cities with the Glass Recycling Company. T's and C's apply.
Enjoy the thrill of the Soccer Panthers Challenge Weekend Edition, an all-new platform from Hollywood Bets. You stand a chance to win a share of the 5 million Rand jackpot when you bet 5 Rand or more on selected EPL matches over the weekend and correctly predict 10 out of 10 winning margins. Or chase the share of the 50,000 Rand leaderboard prize. Entry is free. Let this soccer season bring sizzling success. Bet now.
T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is licensed by the Western Cape Gambling and Racing Board. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counselling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. Suspended Police Minister Senzo Mchunu has handed over digital devices to a member of the Political Killings Task Team related to an ongoing investigation. Mchunu spokesperson Thembiso Mshengu confirmed that search and seizure operations and a warrant was executed yesterday, with members of the task team informing Mchunu about their intentions before they arrived at his residence. It's understood that a previous attempt to obtain Mchunu's devices was unsuccessful. Now, EWN understands that the case relates to defeating the ends of justice opened by KZN Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. President Cyril Ramaphosa placed Mchunu on an immediate leave of absence after allegations of links to organized crime groups were made against him, which he has denied. Mshengu describes what happened when the team arrived at Mchunu's home.
Yesterday evening, the police from the KwaZulu-Natal Political Killing Task Team, in pursuit of their case, visited the house, the official residence of the minister. His support staff as well in present handed over the gadgets that he uses for his daily activities, as well as a government-issued laptop.
In another development, ANC-NEC member Malusi Gigaba's legal team is in discussions with the investigating directorate about allegations of state-related or state capture-related corruption. Gigaba has this morning met with IDAC officials at its Pretoria East offices. The Member of Parliament is accused of involvement in irregularities related to a Transnet tender during his tenure as Minister of Public Enterprises between 2010 and 2014. We cross now live to Alpha Mushwana in the capital. Alpha, what has been happening there this morning?
Well, so ANC-NEC member Malusi Gigaba has been at the Investigative Directorate Against Corruption's offices here in Pretoria East with his legal team since the early hours of this morning. The details of his corruption allegations remain unclear at this stage, but CISO, if Gigaba is officially charged, he will have to step aside as an ANC-NEC member as the party's step-aside resolution. Now, the National Prosecuting Authority has been pursuing several cases related to state capture-related corruption, with others such as former ANC spokesperson Pulemare facing similar charges. You would remember that last year, Ziziko, a former ANC spokesperson, was also charged with corruption, but his charges were subsequently dropped due to insufficient evidence. Now, Sfiso, in a statement, Malusi Gigaba says he will cooperate with law enforcement agencies in an effort to clear his name. He adds that his actions during his time in government were always guided by policy and the principles of accountability. For Eyewitness News, I'm Alpha Ramshwana, reporting live from Linwood in Pretoria East.
Please note the following story contains disturbing details. The Durban High Court has heard that a traffic officer from KwaDukuza died after being shot 4 times in the head while on duty. Marimutu Marumagam was attacked last year while responding to a hostage situation inside a taxi on the N2 highway in KwaZulu-Natal. The man on trial for the murder, Palagahle Dladla, appeared in court yesterday for the first day of judgment. Nhlanhla Mabaso was in court and filed this report.
A number of road traffic officers who worked with Marimutu Marumugem attended court proceedings in numbers dressed in full uniform. They were joined by the deceased's family and relatives as they listened to the judgment. For the first time, some of his colleagues learned about the brutal manner the victim was killed. The judge told the court that the superintendent's body had 4 gunshot wounds in the head and 1 to the chest. His brother, Bafi Marumugem, says this still hurts for the family.
It brings back memories. It was a train smash for us. It hit us hard going through the incidents of what really transpired on the day.
The matter will resume today for continuation of judgment. Nhlanhla Mabaso, Eyewitness News, Durban.
And U.S. President Donald Trump expects a U.S. coordinated international stabilization force to be on the ground in Gaza very soon. The multinational force, likely to include troops from Egypt, Qatar, Turkey, and the United Arab Emirates, is part of Trump's post-war governance plan for Gaza. The plan helped lead to a fragile ceasefire between Israel and Palestinian militant group Hamas last month, but the humanitarian crisis in Gaza has not abated. Gold is trading at $3,993.69 an ounce. The rand is at 17.37 to the dollar, 22.80 to the pound, 20.04 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $63.67 a barrel.
We still have slow-moving traffic heading into Bedfordview. That's in Edenvale, R24 westbound between Edenvale Road and the Gilulis interchange. Calvin Roadwork still slowing down traffic on the N3 in both directions between London Road and the Between interchange.
A cloudy Friday in store for Gauteng with afternoon scattered thunder showers expected. The temperatures will peak at highs between 20 and 22 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. Suspended Police Minister Senzo Mchunu has handed over digital devices to members of the Political Killings Task Team related to an ongoing investigation.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
702.
Live
On the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7.
and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
8 minutes after 10 o'clock. Thanks very much for tuning in and staying with us here on 702. Clement is not here. I'm Thabo Shole-Mashao in his stead. We're together till 12. This is the second hour of the show. In the previous hour, we had an open line. You deposited and submitted your views, your thoughts, your concerns, and they were hot and fiery. And alongside them, we have also since learned from Eyewitness News that Senzo Mchunu has handed in his gadgets, his digital devices, laptops, phones, and everything else to the authorities, and a search and seize warrant was executed accordingly. Very much interesting times. The heat is getting hot in South Africa. Mkhwanazi is doing the things, eh? The pots. Yep. He's doing the pots. I would love to hear from you about all those things, and we touched on them in the previous hour. So that is the latest. But in this hour, I'd like us to explore something different, something a little bit on the side, but equally important. Across the desk feature, and we will be looking at HR specialist, human resources. What relationship do you have with your human resources specialist at your own workplace? 9 minutes after 10.
Join us.
Let's walk the talk.
This is 702.
When we think of workplace, most of us picture our teams, our tasks, and our deadlines. But behind it all, there are really people who keep everything running smoothly. And human resources professionals are those kind of people. I mean, they touch on everything from recruitment and training to conflict resolution and company culture. HR specialists are just something else. They actually become the heartbeat of any organization. In this conversation, we want to take a step behind HR desk a little bit to find out what life is really like for the people who hire, who guide, and who support South Africa's workforce. What would you like to know about the work of HR specialists, human resources specialists? What's your relationship with them? How have you interacted with HR people wherever you work or where you worked? Or it could be that you lost your job because of them. Please feel free to share that with us. I'd love to know from you, what would you like to know about the work of human resource specialist? There was a time in South Africa when everyone else, or it seemed that way at least, was starting to become a human resource manager. Remember that time? I think it's the late 90s, early 2000s, where everyone else, whenever you ask them, what are you studying? They'd be saying human resources, human resource management. And today we are putting them under the spotlight on Across the Desk. And my guest, Sipho Mabaso, HR specialist, joins us right now. Sipho is already here. Sipho, hi. Welcome. Good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Thabo.
Great stuff. We are glad that you could make time for us. Kulani Shuluvani is also HR specialist. Kulani, thanks for your time. Welcome to 702.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
Good morning. Maybe let's kick off with you. Kulani, because HR, many of us are thinking that, what is it that you do when you go to work other than snitching on some of us? Gossiping with management about us and telling them Thabo is not really working. Yeah, okay, we'll have this instituted against them next month.
Thabo, I was actually laughing when you were doing the intro because, when you were asking your relationship with HR, I chuckled a little bit. No, HR is a lot more than gossiping with the managers or management and all of those things. I know there's that particular, perception by employees within the organization, but HR goes a lot deeper than that. I think for me, as an HR professional, HR is about being the bridge between the organization and its people and bringing the two together in order to achieve two things: the objectives of the organization, but also the individual career projections of the people that work within that particular organization.
It's a very pointed and specific role, isn't it? And it needs someone, I would assume, someone who's dedicated to the role. And as much as we're chuckling, there's jest in truth. Some people may say, there's truth in jest, rather. Some people may say, to what extent does it take a person who's really focused on the objectives of the organization and not the boss, not the executive, not the CEO, not the CFO, and not the people at the top, but really looking at the organization? It must take a special person to concentrate on that.
Oh, no, definitely. It really does. It does also get you into a lot of hot, murky waters, because at the end of the day, your role is to ensure that the objectives of the organization are met. The objectives of management, if those do not align with the objectives of the organization, it is our role to say, hey, stop Dilori. This is not where we are going. This is not the objective. This is the road in which we're supposed to be traveling. And that will get you into a bit of trouble. So HR, unfortunately for us, and I'm sure Sipho would agree, we are always in hot water with somebody. It's either management or the employees. And we're always trying to get ourselves out of that hot water.
Yeah. Sipho, let's come to you, and I will come to Kulani about this question as well, because I want to hear what she has to say. But let's start with you, perhaps, Sipho. What drew you to that career of human resources? I did say that there was a time in South Africa when it seemed like everyone else was studying HR.
Yeah. So honestly, Thabo, I didn't know much about the role when I decided to sign up for it. But somebody alluded to the fact that I was good with people, and therefore there's this career that every organization needs, right? No organization can survive without it. And I think that's probably when we saw that rise, with what you are referring to, when everybody was studying HR. But for me, it was more around the idea that I enjoy working with people. Being in this career over time, some of those elements have changed. Having understood what goes on to become a successful HR practitioner, what the intention was when I started to what it is today has shifted tremendously so. But the initial idea was I enjoy working with people.
I was going to ask about the evolution of the profession itself. It looks like it has somehow morphed into something else now, as opposed to what it used to be, Sipho.
Correct. And I was glad when you introduced the topic that you did not say the people that hire and fire, because that's what everybody reduces us to. And half the time, I'm not involved in people getting fired.
Yeah, right.
But to your but I think to your point, I mean, initially HR was what we referred to as personnel management, right? Which was making sure that you hire people, make sure that they are paid on time, make sure that we adhere to all the legal obligations that the country requires us to, and we were all left to that. But over time, what then happened was this concept of business partnering and the idea that you are not just going to sit behind your desk and wait for people to complain and for you to resolve conflicts, but you need to be more proactive. So if you think about 10 years ago when we said hybrid working is going to work, it was HR people that were saying that, but the business was still somewhat not looking forward to the idea of people not being in the office. Come COVID, it's HR that needed to then lead those conversations around, now that we are where we are and the business needs to make money, let's allow people to work from home, and defining what that was going to look like. And that's where HR finds itself now. It's the idea that where's this world and economy that we're living in, and how does our organization fit into all of that? And how do we make sure that our people are ready? And therefore, it takes a different HR practitioner to be able to play that role, and for CEOs to then say, I need somebody in HR sitting next to me. And that's what the role has evolved to over time.
And Kulani, as you tell us what also attracted you to this profession, share a bit about the qualifications, skills, and acumen that is needed for someone to be in HR, Kulani.
Oh, goodness. Okay. So I think, as Sipho said, you have to be good with humans. I talk a lot. Also was told that I was very, very good with human beings. And my role into the HR career was one that was a little bit convoluted. I actually started in operations, and then from operations, then moved on to actually specializing in human resources and labor law as well. So I went to varsity, did a completely different undergrad, and then it was only at postgraduate level that I specialized in HR, and then also did a qualification in labor law as well at the University of Johannesburg. But please let it be known that I am a Wits graduate as well.
Oh my goodness me. Vets for good, right?
Once a Witsy, always a Witsy. The people.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm also keen, Kulani, and I want to ask Sipho this as well. How close is your role to being an advisor to the head of the company? Because I find that often you may have CEOs, or you have GMs, or you have people right at the top of an organization. However, they lack a certain EQ about them. And I'm wondering if that's the value proposition that you bring on the table. It could be that the CEO is a smart person, and they were CFO, they know numbers back and forth. But the EQ element, is that what you are bringing on board?
No, 100%. So as Sipho spoke about how the profession has actually evolved over the years, right? So in the beginning, when we were called personnel management, it was a very administrative role, right? And then when we moved into the business partnering, HR became a very strategic role within organizations. So the people that were, ordinarily picked to be the CEOs that were really good with numbers, et cetera, they needed people like myself and Sipho to come in and help with that EQ element. And we've also seen HR professionals actually within, organization also then evolve to become the CEO and then have people that are good with numbers then advise them, because we've seen that is it's become a very, very strategic role, because at the end of the day, the numbers might be numbering. However, if the human element of the organization is not coming to the party, then you're left with this big gap that needs to be married to one another so the organization can move forward.
20 minutes after 10 o'clock, you're on 702 Thabo in for Clement. We're together till 12. In this segment of Across the Desk, today we are looking at HR specialist, and I want to know from you, what would you like to know about the work of HR specialist? We are paying special homage to this profession. These are the people who are lurking in offices, moving around, holding files, calling us for meetings, and speaking with bosses. When you are hired, they're there. When you are fired, they are there. And they will deny their involvement in the latter, but that's a story for another day. But your relationship with your HR person, your HR specialist, human resources manager, what has it been like where you work? And is it something that you considered as a career at some point? Please let us know on 011-883-0702, 011-883-0702, or send a voice note or a text message to 072-702. 1702. Sipho, I hope you're not going to respond like a certain deputy minister who was in front of the parliamentary ad hoc committee recently. But I'll ask the same question nonetheless. So after you take a bath, get ready for work, when you get to the office, what do you do? And I hope you're not like deputy ministers. You sit there and you wait for your and you do nothing at all. What do you do? Give us an impression of a day-to-day of an HR specialist.
Okay, I'll do mine as well, and I'll also just talk to the idea that it has evolved, right? So my role has evolved from when I started to where I am right now. But typically emails first. Unfortunately, we inundated with a lot of emails because everybody wants to talk to us about different topics. So it would usually be emails, and then it would depend on what my objectives are. I'll tell you right now, for example, I'm in the process of converting people from using their own cars for work and converting them into a company car model. So today, that's part of what I need to do. So look at the numbers, look at who's going to be impacted, how are we going to do change management. So just that laying it out. And part of that would then mean next week I'm going to have to start having meetings with some of the stakeholders that need to be involved in the project. So it differs day to day depending on what I'm working on. Last week, we were working on an incentive structure. Again, it's spending time on trying to understand what does that look like? What's the business currently using? Because I'm fairly new in the space that I'm in right now. So last week, I had quite a number of meetings with some of the stakeholders just to understand what's the current system looking like? And therefore sitting back and thinking around how do we evolve from that point of view. I do a lot of research as well, so I'll spend a lot of time online trying to understand what the current best practices are, drawing it back to the challenges that we are experiencing within our organization and trying to think through what are some of the things that we can implement. And of course, the implementation will then look differently.
Yeah.
Again, Thabo, this looks different from when I was a graduate, from when I was an HR specialist. Back then, I would rely on my line manager to tell me what to do. There would be vacancies, so that would include posting vacancies. So the following day would mean I'm checking if we've received a proper number of CVs, going through those CVs, scheduling interviews and so forth. But fortunately, I don't get to do that anymore. But it differs on every stage of your career, but trust you me, there's always work. And I think if there's ever an HR person that does not have a week that is full of work, I worry about them and not the organization in itself.
Well, Kulani, I'm going to ask you the same in a short while, but I have to take a break. 24 minutes after 10 o'clock.
The Midday Report.
Weekdays,
12 to 1.
Former Bosasa COO Angelo Gritti has been sentenced to 10 years, suspended for 5 years. He's Komoto Modise. What do we know about this arrangement?
The basis of the agreement, Mandy, has been Angelo Grizi's ill health. And so that has been what's been argued by the state and his lawyers here today. The fact that there is no prison that can take care of him. It has been submitted here by the lawyers that it would be best that his sentence be suspended.
The Midday Report
With Mandy Wiener.
12 to 1 on 702.
702.
This Saturday, charge into the future at the BYD Mega Electric Day, happening at BYD dealerships nationwide. Feel the instant power of BYD's all-electric Ocean range with free test drives, plus music, food, games, and fun for the whole family. What's more, BYD is offering exclusive deals on selected BYD electric vehicles ordered this weekend. So don't just dream electric. Drive it. Find your nearest BYD dealership at byd.com and head there this Saturday.
Your office is more than just a place to work. It's a reflection of your success. At Desk and Chair, we help you elevate your workspace with locally manufactured desks and a wide range of chairs to suit your style and budget. Our expert consultants are with you every step of the way, from planning to delivery and assembly. Visit our showroom in Midrand or shop online at deskandchair.co.za. Desk and Chair. Think, feel, work better.
Something big is happening when the family group chat explodes, like the Chamberlain Big Summer Splash promotion, on from 23 October to 9 November. 10% off finest 1903 paint mixing. That's incredible! Amazing deals on outdoor, braai, pool and camping gear. Even the dogs joining in with our social media puppy paw pick competition for a chance to win 1,000 Rand. And what's that? You can meet Bucky's Buerta live in store at Centurion. Come make a splash with the whole family. Chamberlain, famous for hardware since 1903.
702
Let's walk the talk on 92.7
and 106 FM.
Welcome back. 27 minutes after 10 o'clock. Across the desk, we are speaking to HR specialist, and I wanted to find out from you, what would you like to know about the work of HR specialist? And it could be that you're also in HR yourself. What is challenging about that role? What is it that we are underestimating and overlooking? It could be that there are things that are really difficult that we don't understand as ordinary employees, and we take your role for granted. Let us know on 011-883 0702. My guest, Sipho Mabaso, HR specialist, Kulani Shuluvani. Kulani Shuluvani is HR specialist as well, and they're joining us on this very interesting discussion, and I would like to draw you in as well. Kulani, prior to the break, I threatened to come back to you also on the similar question. I'm wondering how soft or gentle should HR's approach be, especially on disciplinary issues? I don't know who is playing a pivotal role as far as discipline is concerned, but I know that you may have a role to play. Assuming someone every Monday is not at work at a particular time, or they are always late for work, we should say, and prior to you dragging them through a disciplinary process, are you in your role in any way supposed to be hearing them first, being a big sister, a big brother, listening comfortably to what they have to say and maybe suggesting some remedial issues? Or should you just say, listen, we start at 7 and you're always late. Every single Monday you come through at 8:30 and here's your warning letter?
No, so let me start by saying that discipline and ensuring that people within the organization's color within the lines, as I like to say, is always the people manager's responsibility. So as an HR professional, it's my responsibility to ensure that the people managers understand how to guide and implement disciplinary processes within the organization, right? And then should it get to a point where the behavior is repetitive or the issue has now escalated, as an HR professional, I will always come in firstly to assess the situation, ask what is happening, again, like you said, listen with that ear to say, okay, and then advise what the next course of action is. But the first step is always with the people managers. The people managers are the ones that are responsible to implement disciplinary processes. As an HR professional, it is my job to to ensure that the people managers understand the law, understand the policies and procedures, as well as the road in which they need to travel when it comes to, enforcing discipline within the organization.
7:02, exactly 10:30. Sfiso Zulu standing by to give us a very latest on Eyewitness News headlines. Morning, Sfiso.
Thanks, Thabo. Good morning. Despite former Minister Malusi Gigaba confirming that he's been summoned to appear in court on corruption charges, the Investigative Directorate Against Corruption says he has not been charged. Gigaba met with IDAC officials at the organization's Pretoria offices this morning in relation to alleged irregularities involving Transnet contracts during his tenure as Public Enterprises Minister. Suspended Police Minister Senzo Mchunu has handed over digital devices to members of the Political Killings Task Team related to ongoing investigations. Mchunu spokesperson Thembiso Mshengu confirmed that a search and seizure warrant was executed yesterday, with members of the task team informing Mchunu about their intentions before they arrived at his residence. And 5 people have been killed as Typhoon Kalmaigi slams into Vietnam after leaving a trail of destruction in the Philippines. The typhoon made landfall in the central Vietnam city or area rather, bringing heavy wind and rain, damaging thousands of buildings in the region. Vietnam is in one of the most active tropical cyclone regions on Earth, and it is typically affected by 10 typhoons or storms a year. Those are the headlines. This EWN and more at 11 or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Well, in Edenvale, we still have slow-moving traffic heading towards Bedford View, R24 westbound between Edenvale Road and the Gilulis interchange. Calvin Roadwork still causing heavy delays. N3 northbound between London Road and the Batu interchange. Travelling through Alberton Meyersdale area, it looks like there's an accident seen on the R59 northbound before the Reading interchange, slowing down traffic. And also look out for those faulty traffic lights in Randburg at Malibonga Drive and President Fisher. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Day 20, awaiting proof of payment. Day 30, still waiting. Day 40, funds finally cleared. In business, credit with 55 interest-free days keeps you moving. We get it. Get an ABSA Business Credit Card. Use over 50% of your credit and initiation fees will be on us. Offer ends 31 December 2025. Apply at absa.co.za/business. ABSA is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply. ABSA, your story matters.
The Dial-A-Bed Black Friday sale is now on with 20% off absolutely everything. Start Black Friday shopping today and save thousands on all our best brands. 40 Winks, Sealy, Simmons, Dunlopillow, King Coil in all sizes, all less 20% and all ready for fast delivery. Dial-A-Bed, sleep for life.
Flight Centre's Big Red Sale is back. 21 October to 14 November. Save up to 50% on tours, 35% on cruises, and massive deals on Thailand, Mauritius, and the Maldives. Even local flights from 1,900 Rand return. Now that's a win. Plus, 2 kids stay and eat free on selected breaks. The world's waiting. The deals are calling. So, get to your nearest Flight Centre store today. T's and C's apply. Flight Centre, your centre for travel.
Let's walk the talk.
7:02.
7:02 indeed. Back to my guest on Across the Desk. Sipho Mabaso, HR specialist, Kulani Shiluvani, HR specialist as well. And we are just looking into this very interesting profession. Let's go straight to your call. So 118830702. Vusi, you're in Carltonville. Hi, morning. Thanks for your patience.
Thank you, sir. How are you?
I'm free. How are you, Vusi?
I'm okay, thank you. I'm very much interested in this topic of the HR concept and all that. I just want to add on something, or just maybe give a little bit of advice, especially to our HR officers. So, I have a background experience in the mining industry. We have these things called contractors. and they have HR officials there.
Mm.
Very problematic. Now, here's what I would like to advise. As an HR officer, anyone who is within the context of HR, please, I don't think there's an HR personnel who cannot familiarize themselves with the labor laws, the Labor Relations Act. I take it has to be some sort of a general knowledge for most of them, because there's disputes after disputes, and they fail so much when it comes to following proper procedure, when it comes to disciplinary hearings, when it comes to all those type of stuff, because they end up dismissing employees unfairly, so they end up suspending employees unfairly, so, and all those type of.
So you're suggesting that they must familiarize themselves with the law, especially LRA, more importantly.
They have to be very familiar with the Labor Relations Act laws.
Vusi, thanks very much for your time. Sipho, how important is it also to view the changes in legislation? Because that can easily land a company into serious problems, hot water, if, for instance, an HR overlooks a certain important element of LRA.
Very critical, Thabo. And I think that's the biggest role that we are meant to be playing, right? We don't expect a businessman or a CEO to be thinking about these things. It's our role to check as to how's the labor law evolving, what are the new trends, and how does it impact our industry? So because we are all in different industries, of course. And I think to Vusi's point, that's the reason why labor law, whether it's as a portion or as a full module, will always form part of any HR qualification. Yes, you can still do it as a side if you want to enhance it, but it forms the core part of any basic training from an HR point of view, because it is our duty to ensure that all staff members adhere to these policies. And to Vusi's point, whenever somebody gets fired and they go to the CCMA looks at two things. Was the process procedurally fair, and was it substantively fair? And you've got all those rules guided by our labor laws. So it would be said to know that there are HR people that don't necessarily keep up with these changes or with the basic laws.
Yeah, makes sense. And Kulani, from your side, knowing the law, because it's people's livelihoods. Emotions should be placed aside at times, and the law has to be taken into consideration, especially on the side of the employee.
100%. Paramount. As Sipho stressed, it is the foundation on which everything else is built. And one, brick that is not laid correctly could have, a disastrous outcome, either for the organization or the individual. And I like exactly what you said, Thabo. It is people's livelihoods that we are, that are being determined in these particular set of circumstances. So it is very, very important that you don't just proceed with things willy-nilly, that you ensure that you as a professional are always up to date. These things always get reviewed, changes come up. Currently, I think I'm not entirely, and I shouldn't be saying this, but I don't think it's been signed into law yet. Sipho, you'll tell me as well. There's certain changes that are coming where smaller employers will not be held to the same standards as larger employers when it comes to things like retrenchment, firing and dismissing.
Yeah.
So those are the things that Sipho and I, always stay ahead of the curve on, because the moment they become signed into law, we need to ensure that we are advising our organizations and our people within the organization of these changes, the impact of the changes, and how we are going to effect that particular change management as well. Because we have to take management through the change. We need to take employees through the change as well, so everybody is up to par with those particular changes as and when they come in.
011-883-0702. Alternatively, your voice notes, which I've been neglecting, and I'll go straight to them on 072-702-1702.
Hi, Thabo and the team. My question to your guests is, how do you deal with the situation whereby a junior employee lodges a complaint against a senior member of the company? Why I'm asking this, is that on some occasions, HR practitioners tend to be paralyzed when a senior member of the company is involved, or when a junior member of the company
yes
is the one who is lodging a complaint against the senior member of the
Yeah.
company.
Yeah.
David.
Let's hear this one specifically because it's very important. Sipo?
Yes, and I acknowledge that at times it does become tricky. But depending on what the complaint is, I think it's within our duty to understand the complaint. If it's in writing, sit with the person just so that you make sure that you understand what the actual concerns are and ask for specifics as much as possible. Because I think a lot of times we get tripped by, he does not like me. And I'm like, oh, I can't do much with that. I can work with it from a culture point of view, but if the specifics, then what we would then need to do is we would then need to approach that specific line manager, inform them, and get their view. There are instances where people might note that, oh, I was not aware, or I didn't do anything wrong. Yes, I did that, but I didn't do anything wrong. In that instance, Thabo, I know that I've got coaching to do with that line manager, because there's people that would do something, but they don't understand how it would negatively impact the next person. In that instance, I know it's my role to coach, and where necessary, I'll go to that specific line manager's boss, because everybody has a boss. In an instance where it's something as serious as, for example, sexual harassment, somebody being insulted in front of other people, in that instance, it's not just a matter of coaching. Unfortunately, yes, I will have to now go to their manager as well and inform them of what had just happened. And depending on the severity of the case, then we might determine the need to either suspend if there's a need to, and or give out a form of a warning with repercussions that should follow. The danger, and this is something that you spoke about, a lot of the work that we then do does not go outside. So what we always say is that, Thabo, whatever you go through from a performance or disciplinary point of view, your juniors should not know, out of respect. So more often than not, we would give you a warning, but I can't go tell your subordinates that we've given you a warning, right? And that's where it becomes difficult. So people sometimes think HR is not doing anything, but actually on file, we've got it in writing so that should you repeat the behavior, then we know that it could go into a disciplinary inquiry with a possible termination. But those are some of the elements that we cannot go out and announce that this person has received a written warning. And that's where it becomes tricky.
And Kulani,
and I don't know if Kulani would align.
I'd want you to jump in, Kulani, just a little bit, if you don't mind adding one more element to it. And just for purposes of being frank, I suspect our listener is also suggesting that if perhaps the member of the executive is involved in an act that has contravened work policy and regulations and everything of the sort, do you have the courage to stand up as you would if it were Thabo who had contravened any of those, and call Thabo to the office, speak to him and follow the right procedure? Or are you intimidated by the title because perhaps that person is even higher than you in that organization, and you are timid and you are thinking, if I act against this person, I know how powerful he is in that executive committee. It could be the end of me here.
I'm going to speak from a personal point of view here, right? Because I also realize that there are very different people that are within the profession. And also, luckily for me, I don't have a boss. Actually, I do, which is the board. But, because I'm in HR consulting, which is very, very different to HR professionals that sit within an organization. So back in the days when I did sit in an organization, my rule has always been never let the title get in the way. That is rule number one. In other words, whether I'm having to deal with an issue that is the CEO, CFO, whatever the title is, the merits of the case need to be dealt with the merit of the case, and forget about the title. If somebody has done something wrong, they have done something wrong, and it doesn't matter where in the organizational hierarchy they fall in. Matters need to be dealt with, fairly, consistently, because that's another thing that will be looked at the CCMA, is that has this rule been applied consistently? Has it been applied fairly, as well as across the board? You cannot chop and change who you want to apply the rules to and who not to apply them to just because there's some kind of title that a person holds. So you deal with the matter according to the facts, and you ignore the title. So that has always been something that I, even right now, still follow at the end of the day, because if somebody is wrong, they are wrong.
Great. Let's go to Tsepo, then we'll go to the voice notes and the text messages. Abel, Tsepo, you are in Randburg. Hi.
Yes, good morning to you and the listeners. So I just want to say that as an HR officer, it's important to know the policies from your company. So that it's easier then to explain to whoever you will be engaging with or contracting at that point. So these employees, they must know that they must be inducted. They must also know the policies so that they know where to run to whenever there is a problem. So most of the people are not properly inducted and they're not engaging with the policies of the organization. So from an HR side also, it's also important to update your employees whenever a certain policy changes, to say, guys, this has been changed, therefore this is how now we are going to go about this. So there is a rift between HR and employees because now the employees are not fully equipped in terms of the organizational policies. So that is what I just wanted to weigh in.
Tsepo, thanks very much for that. Let's go to the voice notes on 072 702 1702.
As much as I've had some incredible HR managers who've had a really positive impact on my career, one must still acknowledge that HR is an executive function. And I'd like to hear how HR managers feel they can walk this tightrope. Claire in Rosebank.
I'm going to put you under the spotlight, Kulani. I had put Sipho there before.
Claire raises a very good point, right? As HR professionals, we are tasked with ensuring that people within the organizations, both the employees as well as the managers, are taken care of, needs are being met. We're always ensuring that, the culture, all of those things are in place, right? So sometimes we always say to ourselves, where's HR for HR?
Yes,
as an
yes.
as an HR professional, I also want an HR person to look after me,
Yes.
because we do carry a lot on our shoulders, this constant balancing act that we have to do as professionals to ensure that we are walking the tightrope between the objectives of the organization, the well-being of the people, the culture, the objectives as well. So it is important that within organizations that HR professionals themselves are also looked after, that they're attended for as well. And that's a concept that we have actually developed where we've called it HR for HR, where HR professionals have a space to come and also be looked after, to be nurtured, to be looked after, to ensure that their career projection is also, in line with what they want to achieve for themselves, that their mental well-being is also being looked after as well. And also they're also getting a raise, as well, because it's very important.
Well, Sipho, I'm going to come back to you in a short while, 12 minutes to 11 o'clock. You're on 702 Thabo in for Clement. Keep those messages coming through on 072 702 1702. But quickly, let's take one or two, Abel, before we take a break. I know we pressed. This one says, hi, morning TSM and the team. HR professionals have an influence in the trajectory of people's careers and their lives. So in my previous job, an HR manager made sure that my hours accommodated my studies. I had to attend lectures during the week. Had it not been by him, my manager and her manager wanted me to choose between my studies and my job. We just buried him 2 weeks ago. I was heartbroken. Thanks very much for that, and keep sending them through 072 702 1702.
The G20 Summit coming to Johannesburg is a stepping stone towards a brighter future for the city. Josie My Josie has launched the Babize Bonke campaign to shine a spotlight on some of the extraordinary champions who are reshaping Johannesburg from the ground up.
My name is Grant Ngobo. When Galanjie first opened, I was 14 years old and worked my way up, and now I lead the organization at the age of 27. From the 51st floor of Ponte, we run inner city tours and community centers at the bottom, challenging stereotypes about Hillbrow, Berea, and Yuva.
Josie My Josie is making the invisible visible, giving the voiceless a voice. It's a movement for the people, by the people, creating a city that we can proudly call Josie My Josie. Come see how Josie does it. A city that's alive, ready, and rising. Prime Media and 702 are proud sponsors of Josie My Josie.
Josie My Josie, Babize Bonke champion Grant Ngobo will be interviewed on Weekend Breakfast by Googs Mhlungu just after 8 a.m. on Sunday morning.
Okay, truck 7, that has zero warning lights. Truck 8, it's just been serviced. I guess we're running like a well-oiled machine. Where would I be without MyWay's comprehensive cover for my vans and trucks? Plus, cover for my customers' orders with goods and transit insurance. I guess we'll never know.
Visit myway.co.za or dial 0860 64 64 64 and get a quote today. MyWay is a licensed non-life insurer and FSP. T's, C's and standard rates apply. MyWay. Live your way.
Join Temkosi Mtembu from the hit series Shaka Ilembe and be the strong man who makes better health a legacy. Shop Cellerman's health range, strong men, stress and anxiety, clear skin, joint and gout, and daily immune. Available in tea, mixture and capsules. Shop today at Clicks, Discam, ShopRite, Checkers, Boxer, Pick and Pay, and Spa. Don't compromise. Sela yasebenza.
Let's walk the talk.
702.
7:02 indeed, 2 minutes to 11 o'clock. Welcome back. HR Desk is under the spotlight today on Across the Desk as I speak to the esteemed guests, Sipomabaso Kulani Shiluvani, who are both HR specialists. And we are looking at this very controversial but necessary career. In your office, you'd know that there are these individuals. They are seemingly friendly, but very important nonetheless, and the two are not mutually exclusive, by the way. But they do a very important job in being the heartbeat of the company. HR, what is your relationship with them? Sipo, there was a guest who asked about unions. Maybe it's the point at which we need to find out from them. They asked about the role of unions and how do you relate with them, especially as human resources. I would love to hear from you as to how do you get, because it can be a very, very serious tightrope to walk on.
Yes. And I think what usually makes that relationship difficult, Thabo, is when you choose not to be an empathetic or a good listener. And I think my relationship with them has been up and down, but the core has always been hear them out. And just like any other human being, it's hear them out. And basically their role, of course, is to represent employees. So you want all employees to have one or two people that can consolidate their needs, their complaints, their suggestions, because more often than not, it's not just the bad stuff. They sometimes have value add to where the business could go. And they represent employees and talk on their behalf. So be it day-to-day operations, be it concerns that they experience on an ongoing basis. And then, of course, the infamous salary negotiations as well, which is what usually becomes a very hot topic. But I think their contact into the business is usually through us from an HR point of view. So we become their door into the organization. And more often than not, we still need to pull out the CEO or the MD and say, come, we are going to sit together and we are going to have conversations with our people as represented by the union.
So I have a couple of questions for both of you, and we're about to wrap this up. And I just wanted maybe to start off with you first, Kulani, and then I'll come back to Sipho. And this would be just a yes or a no on 3 questions for you, and I'll have 3 questions for Sipho. Would be a yes or a no as well. Kulani, are you ready?
I think so.
Can I come to HR or approach the HR office if there is bereavement or some sadness that are affecting me personally?
Yes.
Can I approach HR office if I need to make a career move that does not necessarily reside inside that organization? I anticipate moving to another organization, and can I come to HR for advice on that?
Yes.
Can I approach HR for advice if I'm attracted to my colleagues at work?
Oh, 100% yes. Please do. Please. No, that one is a resounding yes.
Really?
Before anything.
Why? Is it because of some policies that some offices have on relationships?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. So, organizations.
Yeah.
I see Sipho's laughing with me. Some organizations have policies on how workplace romantic relationships have happened. We've obviously all seen how that Coldplay concert played out a couple of
Yes.
months ago. So it's very, very important. Organizations have clear policies and guidelines on how workplace romantic relationships should be handled. So I always say, and especially when you're 100% sure, right? And maybe even if you're not 100% sure, or maybe you're exploring, you and Timothy, there's a vibe there.
Yeah.
I would definitely say, have a conversation with HR,
Sure.
just so you can color within the lines.
Yeah. Sipho, your turn.
Yeah.
Before we say goodbye, can I approach HR if I have a problem against someone who is high ranking in the office?
Yes, you can.
Can I approach HR about my financial situation, which may not be at their peak or at their best?
Yes.
Can I approach HR about a pay raise?
You can. Yes, you can. And I'm just delaying with the last 2 because I'm trying to think as to what's going to be my next step.
Yeah.
But if the question is, can I approach HR? Yes, you can.
Okay. Guys, I love talking to you. Sadly, we are flat out of time. I really appreciated having a wonderful chat with you, and I hope we can do it sometime soon again. Thanks again to you, Sipho Mabaso, and thanks to Kulani Shiluvani. Really appreciated those wonderful moments, and you being frank, open, and direct with us. 2 minutes to 11 o'clock.
Tani Esther, or should I say the Tupperware Tani? How's business going?
Business is booming. I've been operating out of the boot of my car for 10 years, but shame, it couldn't keep up with my growing empire.
Okay, so you sold it to We Buy Cars?
Yes, quick. Sold my old one, bought a bigger one. I even sold some of my Tupperware to the friendly guy who picked up my car.
Stick to what you know best, eh, Tani?
Excuse me?
Never mind. We Buy Cars. Geared for your business, geared for you.
The DP World Lions are ready to defend their legacy of champions, but a hungry challenger is in town for the T20 Challenge. This Saturday, November 8th, the pride of Jozi faces the newly promoted high-flying Muti Ram Tuskers, the team that swept the Division 2 trophies last season and is eager to prove they belong in the top flight. Witness the ultimate contest at the iconic DP World Wanderers Stadium. The action starts at 1 p.m. Back the pride of Josie at the DP World Wanderers by purchasing tickets to all 3 T20 matches and stand a chance to win a VIP experience for you and 3 friends at a Joburg Super Kings match. Tickets at Ticket Pro or visit the DP World Lions website. The World Test Championships final maze will be on display throughout the stadium from 12 onwards.
In case you missed it, 702 was in conversation with Santam about Santam's partnership with the G20 taking place in Johannesburg.
We are participating in the Disaster Risk and Reduction Working Group, and through that we are able to share some learning, good practices, and what we've got from our flagship program, like Partnerships and Risk and Resilience. So we hope that the learnings that we are able to share with the G20 countries, we're able to be utilized, most importantly, to emphasize the role of partnerships between government and the private sector.
Santam is a proud sponsor of the G20 Summit. Santam, this is freedom. Santam is an authorized FSP, a licensed non-life insurer, and the controlling company for its group of companies.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. Despite former Minister Malusi Gigaba confirming that he has been summoned to appear in court on corruption charges, the investigating directorate against corruption says he has not been charged. Gigaba met with IDAC officials at the organization's Pretoria offices this morning in relation to alleged irregularities involving Transnet contracts during his tenure as Public Enterprises Minister between 2010 and 2014. The ANC NEC member confirmed on social media earlier today that he had been summoned to appear in court. Alpha Ramushwana reports from Pretoria.
Earlier this morning, former Public Enterprises Minister Malusi Gigaba said the summons relate to irregular Transnet contracts which stem from his tenure as Public Enterprises Minister. Gigaba and his legal team met with IDAC this morning to discuss the allegations against him. Despite the court summons, spokesperson for the investigating Directorate Against Corruption, Henry Mamothame, has confirmed that Gigaba remains a free man.
The investigating Directorate Against Corruption is having engagements with Mr. Malusi Gigaba, and he has not been placed under any arrest. Therefore, there will not be any court appearance today. IDAC will also not be commenting any further on this matter.
Gigaba has released another statement on social media saying he's now been informed that he will no longer be charged with corruption. Alpha Ramshwana, Eyewitness News in Pretoria East.
Suspended Police Minister Senzo Mchunu has handed over digital devices to members of the Political Killings Task Team related to ongoing investigations. Mchunu spokesperson Thembiso Mshengu confirmed that a search and seizure warrant was executed yesterday, with members of the task team informing Mchunu about their intentions before they arrived at his residence. It's understood that a previous attempt to obtain Mchunu's devices was unsuccessful. Now, EWN understands that the case relates to defeating the ends of justice opened by KZN Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. President Cyril Ramaphosa placed Mchunu on an immediate leave of absence after allegations of links to organized crime groups were made against Mchunu, which he's denied. Mshengu described what happened when the team arrived at Mchunu's home.
Yesterday evening, the police from the KwaZulu-Natal Political Killing Task Team, in pursuit of their case, visited the house, the official residence of the minister. His support staff as well in present handed over the gadgets that he uses for his daily activities, as well as a government-issued laptop.
President Cyril Ramaphosa is confident in a new plan to tackle gangsterism that was discussed by the National Security Council recently. He says the plan, which is yet to be launched, is credible and will make stronger use of technology to deal with the problem, not only in Cape Town, but in other provinces too. Answering questions in the National Assembly yesterday, Ramaphosa said the high number of gang-related deaths recorded weekly in the city is concerning. Lindsay Dentlinka reports.
President Cyril Ramaphosa believes new policing plans that are being developed will be able to curb gangsterism and extortion.
And we are also going to make sure that the financial capability thereof is also present so that we're able to deal with this scourge as effectively as we possibly can.
But he says communities which often shield criminals have a role to play too.
I do have the confidence that we will be able to make success. The National Security Council will be meeting again very soon to deal exactly with the actual and detailed plans that the police are going to embark upon.
Ramaphosa says government is grappling with the root causes of gangsterism, which include unemployment and a sluggish economy. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
And 5 people have been killed as Typhoon Kalmagi slams into Vietnam after leaving a trail of destruction in the Philippines. The typhoon made landfall in the central Vietnam region, bringing heavy wind and rain, damaging thousands of buildings. Vietnam is one of the most active tropical cyclone regions on Earth and is typically affected by 10 typhoons or storms a year, but Kalmagi is the 13th of this year. Gold is trading at $3,993.69 an ounce. The rand is at 17.37 to the dollar, 22.80 to the pound, 20.04 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $63.67 a barrel. A cloudy Friday.
In Kelvin, roadworks causing delays. This is on the N3 northbound between London Road and the Batclue interchange. Look out for those faulty traffic lights in Paulshof at Witkoppen and Main, as well as in Edenville at Modderfontein Road and Van Riebeek.
A cloudy Friday in store for Gauteng with afternoon scattered thunder showers expected. The temperatures will peak at highs between 20 and 22 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour, despite former Minister Malusi Gigaba confirming that he's been summoned to appear in court on corruption charges, the investigating directorate against corruption says he has not been charged.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
702.
Live
On the Prime Media Plus app.
DSTV channel 856,
92.7.
and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
6 minutes after 11 o'clock. Welcome back. You on 702 Thabo in for Clement. I'm always thrilled to be in your company because you bring out these views, these perspectives that I would not have imagined. Always an eye-opener having a word with our 702 lenders here on the radio. I think you heard on the news that Malusi Gigaba is not charged. You might have heard that in EWN a few minutes ago, and in the previous bulletin as well. On top of the hour at 10, they did mention that he was not charged, despite the fact that he had said that he will be handing himself in today, and he's going to be formally charged. What is going on? I am lost. I'm literally lost. What is going on? Maybe we would need some clarity, but stay tuned on 702 as subsequent shows will deal with that issue thoroughly. You'd know that Mandy Winner will join us between 12 and 1 o'clock, and Redle Bokhile between 1 and 3. John Pellman comes through between 3 and 6. And Stephen Rotes with the Money Show up until 8 o'clock. And Bra Obs will take us all the way to midnight. The great Aubrey Masango. Do not miss that one. And I know that in that show you will have plenty of opportunity to ventilate, argue, debate, dissect, and go into in-depth analysis with everything else that we have touched on. Well, on our show right now, relationship focus. I never, ever move furniture. Today we have very interesting topic, especially about counseling. Do you go to counseling? How often do you go? For your relationship at least, do you feel the need to go to counseling as couples? Well, let me know. 011-883-0702, 8 after 11.
Let's walk the talk.
702.
Lee Joy, relationship coach, is my guest, and she joins us right now because we often think couples therapy, we think of it as the last resort of some sort. And sometimes couples only turn out to go to these counseling sessions when there's a very, very serious problem, seeking help. But you may find that it is a little bit late, and I hope not. But there are some couples, research shows that there are some couples who consider therapy after 3 years of problems ensuing. And when they go there, resentment has grown, dissatisfaction, anger, and issues have piled up on issues and issues and issues. So I wanted to know from you, have you sought counseling in your relationship? Are you curious about whether you and your partner should consider couples counseling? Do you think your relationship might use some counsel? Let us know. It's a safe space as we discuss with my friend, relationship coach, Lee Joy. Lee, lovely having you. Hope you're good.
Hello, hello. It's Friday.
It's Friday. And I'm happy to have you here, Lee. Everything well with you?
So good. So good. Thank you. How are you?
I'm chilled. I'm free. I'm happy. I'm okay.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
I wanted to find out, do couples consider couple counseling only when things are really, really terrible? And I'm asking that because as I was telling Bongani Bingwa what's coming up on the show, on the morning breakfast, he said that he knows of a couple who were seemingly very, very happy and they were lovey-dovey, everything was going on, but for some reason they said, let's just go to counseling. And therein, issues were unearthed, despite how happy they seemed to be.
I think every relationship has its hardships, right? I don't think everybody goes to therapy or counseling only when there are problems. If you look at premarital counseling, that's a good example of how people are equipped to be able to navigate, marriage. I'm busy studying biblical counseling, and I'm loving it, Thabo.
Really?
Yes, it's such a beautiful way of engaging with people in the relationship space. Obviously, I don't only work with Christians, but I'm very excited to be working with Christians in the counseling space.
Disclaimer.
Yeah.
But why is it that there's a stigma around counseling, Lee? Do you know?
It's such a good question, because I wondered, I think, I'm going to go out on a limb. A lot of men struggle to go to counseling. And
I do.
Yeah, I think it's more of a stigma for men to go to counseling than it is for women to go to counseling. And through my research, my lived experience, I think it's because women are socialized to be emotional. We're from little. We socialized, and it comes quite naturally for us to be social creatures. And not just, men are social as well.
Yeah.
But they can go for drinks at the bar. But but if you ask them what are they actually talking about, they're talking about cars and motorbikes and rugby.
Yeah.
They're not really talking about hey, my wife. They may say, hey, my wife's driving me nuts, but then that would be it. It wouldn't be an in-depth conversation around what's difficult for them.
That is
true. So I think there are a couple of stigmas. One, that men struggle to open up, or when they do open up, they don't feel like it's pretty. They don't feel like it's done in an eloquent way. That's the word I'm looking for. So they struggle. They don't. Yeah. So that's the one stigma. The second stigma is, I think it's like keeping up with the Joneses. While we got this facade of a relationship that we've got, and if we're going to therapy, then there must be something wrong, wrong with us. Whereas, in my opinion and what I've seen, and obviously not all of them, I've had people come for counseling and they come for 1 or 2 sessions and they realize, I actually have to divorce this person. It's not working. They're not listening. It's the same stuff. So therapy doesn't necessarily save relationships, but it does bring honesty to the fore. And so people are then either, and some of the relationships that I've had the honor of walking alongside have gone on to be so robust and so resilient and so deeply compassionate and loving that they were never before. And I think the counseling space gives that. If people ask me what's the one thing, if I just say what's the one thing I do as a counselor, I'd say that I offer people an authentic, genuine, courageous space, an honest space to be able to be open with each other and to find a solution to the difficulties in their miscommunication, to clear out and rebuild some of the foundation of their relationship because of bitterness and resentful of past experiences. And so the one thing is to create that space so people can clean up and build something really robust and resilient.
So counseling is not necessarily there to save a relationship.
No, it doesn't. I can't promise people that. I say to them, listen, I'm glad that you're here, and I'm glad that you're here to be able to hear each other deeply. But let me try and work out the percentages. I would say at least 10% of people that come to see me for marriage counseling land up getting divorced.
Okay.
And that's not to say that my counseling's not good.
I was about to ask.
Yeah, I mean, it may be.
I'm kidding. I know you're very good. I'm just pulling your leg, Lee. Lee, I also wanted to find out before we take a break. I know that very soon Abel will force me to take a break. Going to counseling as an individual versus going to couples counseling, what is the difference between the two?
So the way that I like to work is I see the individuals and I see the couple.
Yeah.
I find that people, when they're in an individual session, they can be a lot more open about what's going. So let's talk. There's two questions or two scenarios about individual counseling that I want to speak to. So the one is if people come for couples counseling and I see them individually because I need to do their history and figure out their attachment styles and all of that, and it would be boring for the other person to sit and not boring, but
it would be.
People need to be honest in their own space.
Yeah.
They need to be honest they need to be given a space to be totally honest, because I find that sometimes my clients will voice something to me that they're too scared to voice to their partner.
Yes.
And then when they voiced it, they've been given that opportunity to voice it, they go, oh, I don't know if I really feel like that. I feel like this. Yeah. Oh, sure. I didn't realize I felt like that. And so the couples counseling sessions become a lot more open and honest because they've been given that space to be honest and real with themselves. And then for individuals, people coming just for counseling for themselves, I do a lot of work around trauma and grief in the individual space, and also dating coaching. So with the individual coaching, the thing that I find that people walk away from therapy with me is that they've had a place to practice being who they are, and for me to feed back to them how I experience them. And for them to see their blind spots then, and for them to see themselves in a more holistic way, and to see how they self-sabotage. So I'm not a judgmental, condemning person, but I'll just bring to their awareness and something that I'm witnessing.
Sure.
So, and also to come to terms with one's past, to be able to give voice to different pasts, like the inner child, the inner teenager, and the inner adult. Give a place to be able to express those different parts of us with regards to trauma and grief. So it's a very, it's a very beautiful, sacred journey. Both counseling, couples counseling, and individual counseling.
And I'm wondering, when you're having couples counseling, are you not experiencing in some instances a competition on who is right and who's wrong? The other trying to prove that they are the ones who are okay, and the Looney Tunes is the guy sitting next to me.
Yeah, so there's in this biblical counseling module that I'm learning, there's a script that they suggest. And the first is, this is how I feel, how do you feel? So it's not I'm right, you wrong, or you right, I'm wrong. And then, did I get you right? Did I understand what you're saying? So it's almost coming from a mutual space, a non-emotional space. If people are like, I did this and you did that, and I stop that very quickly, because that they can do at home, like on their free hours. They're not going to pay me to waste their money.
Coming to you, we can get rid of that quickly then.
So I have a script that I take people through with regards to really understanding each other, because that's really what it's about, right? If it's going to be about you and me, who's going to be right, our relationship is losing. And what we're wanting is a robust society and a strong society. And a strong society is built on strong relationships. So if we're going to be pointing fingers who's right and wrong, we're not going to get anywhere.
18 minutes after 11 o'clock on Relationship Focus this Friday. When should couples seek counseling? Have you sought counseling as a couple? What did you get when you and your partner went for counseling? How did you experience it? I always get the feeling that someone who's giving us counseling would take sides with a wrong person. I get that feeling at times. And that's why perhaps I fear going to counseling. Do you fear going to counseling like me? Or have you been? What was your experience like? Please let me know on 011-883-0702. And it could be that counseling saved your relationship or helped you to go separate ways. 072-702-1702.
John Perlman. Weekday afternoons,
3 to 6.
Do the bylaws make an assumption about people's attitude to each other? Because if we go away from informal trading just for a moment and think, bylaws deals with noise levels in neighborhoods, they deal with illegal dumping, and all of them seem to me to either presume that the sanction that you can apply is a significant deterrent.
So many bylaws that we have that we need to adhere to. A lot of people are not aware of what the bylaws are. They are not really well informed in terms of how they should be.
John Perlman.
3 to 6 on 702.
This Saturday, charging to the future at the BYD Mega Electric Day, happening at BYD dealerships nationwide. Feel the instant power of BYD's all-electric Oceans range with free test drives, plus music, food, games, and for fun for the whole family. What's more, BYD is offering exclusive deals on selected BYD electric vehicles ordered this weekend. So, don't just dream electric, drive it. Find your nearest BYD dealership at byd.com and head there this Saturday.
Whether it is a CCMA referral, problems with a mechanic, unfair blacklisting, or an uncontested divorce, Clientele Legal offers professional legal services to all South Africans. Our plans are affordable, and you receive up to 745,000 Rand worth of legal services per year. We cover civil, criminal, and labor-related matters. Our nationwide legal teams are standing by to support you 24 hours a day. Plus, all plans include a 5,000 Rand bail benefit. Join today. SMS Legal to 48721. That's legal to 48721. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
Calling all wedding planners and venues, restaurants, conference centers, and hotels. Do you need tables and chairs? Home in One has it all. Do you need cutlery, crockery, table linen, and restaurant equipment? Home in One has it all. Do you need tents, gazebos, or umbrellas? Home in One has it all. Affordable prices, the latest trends, with 2 branches in Pretoria and Johannesburg. Shop online at homein1.co.za because we're your #1 choice. Home in One has it all.
702
Let's walk the talk on 92.7
and 106 FM.
702, thanks very much for joining us. Welcome back. Relationship Focus every Friday, and today is no different. Lee Joy, relationship coach, is my guest, and I will get her to give out her details just before the show ends as to how you can link up with her. But for now, we're talking about couples counseling. Who needs it? How have you found it to be? Are you a couple currently in distress? Perhaps you're fighting a lot or things are not going well and you've been considering counseling. And it could be also that you are just okay and you're thinking, we don't need it. We don't need it at all. But it has been found that it could be that you do need it because there may be some issues that are bubbling under. Just before the break, earlier I mentioned that I am not a big fan of counseling simply because I'm always thinking that perhaps the counselor will misdiagnose and not perhaps see through the theatrics of the person I'm in counseling with, because oftentimes we date actresses who are there for the show and to gain sympathy. And my biggest fear is that, especially when someone is such a great actress that she cries on cue, and I will be made a monster with horns, and the counselor not knowing that this person is just performing. Lee?
So with regards to being a skilled counselor, one needs to be able to be impartial, right?
Yeah.
It's and one of the readings that I did this week with the course that I'm doing, the therapist said, I'm not on either one. I'm not on the husband or the wife's
Yes.
side. I'm on God's side. So I'm here to be impartial and to help the couple create a God-willed relationship, right? I think what has been helpful sometimes is that a partner may use a tone or words that are triggering to the other. And so I can see there's this he said, I'm right, you wrong thing that plays off. And sometimes I'll reframe what I understand the other person is saying. So say the husband is saying something in a tone and using words that trigger the wife. And I can see she's getting upset and she's not understanding what he's saying. I may then reframe what he's saying so that she can maybe understand it in a different way.
Yes.
So sometimes she may feel, oh, I'm on the side of her
Yes,
husband, but
yes.
I'll say I'm not on his side. I'm not necessarily agreeing with what he's saying. It's just this is what he's saying.
Yes.
Because you're misunderstanding. So, I think therapy is about coming back together and going, hey, I miss my friend. I miss the one we fell in love with.
Yeah.
I miss the one that we were like on the same page. We were on the same team. And we were out and not fighting the world, but we were facing the world together. And somewhere along the way, we started fighting each other. We changed from being alongside each other in the world, holding hands, building a future together by the grace of God, to facing each other, not holding hands, scowling and fighting. So I think counseling really is about coming back into a space where like, hey, like you've changed and okay, you've changed,
Yeah.
but like how does that serve us? How do I understand you better?
Yeah.
And what's the next phase of our relationship? What does it look like?
Yeah.
Because often people sit without a vision. That's why they get bored and frustrated,
Yeah.
so they take it out on each other.
Yeah.
So often we'll build a new vision for the relationship, and then they can come alongside each other, and then they're not to say that they're happy all the time,
Yes.
Thabo, but that they
Yeah.
definitely have a more excitement around the
I see.
relationship.
Am I allowed to shout during couples counseling session that she's lying, she's lying, she's lying?
No.
Okay. Just
I'll
checking.
encourage my client not to shout because
Just-
I get triggered then.
I'm just checking. I'd love to hear from you. 072 702 1702. Let's go to some of your text messages here. Hi, Thabo and your guest. Can you find out for me, how does a husband deal with the wife who does not believe in counseling and she doesn't socialize a lot, so she doesn't get views from other couples or ladies or wives?
Oh, that's such a great question, Thabo. I get that often. So what I do is I encourage the party that is wanting therapy to come for therapy. And often I'll have, like, after 3 or 4 sessions, the wife or the husband who didn't want to come is like, who's this lady? How has she been able to affect change?
Yes, yes.
And often I just help the client that is willing to come into therapy. I do like the self-care practice with them, and I help them create a life that's full for them, that they feel they fall in love with their own lives again.
Yeah.
I think
How's that helpful? Sorry to interrupt you. How's that helpful for a relationship, though? Because it could embolden you and perhaps edify you as an individual, but then mismatch you when you're going back to that couple session.
I haven't witnessed that. I've witnessed more the other going, oh wow, you're happier again.
Yeah.
You're like, what's going on? What is shifted for you? So I think sometimes we can become hyper focused on our partners when there's difficulty in a relationship, and when I just help people reorientate to their connection to God and they've got their soul's purpose, right? And our love relationship is only one aspect of our lives, but sometimes it's like bad sex. If it's bad sex, it's like 80% of the relationship. If it's great sex, it's only 20% of the relationship.
Yes.
So the same thing is when things are tricky in a relationship, it feels like 80% of my life is in shambles. But when the relationship's going well, then we feel like things seem a lot more manageable. So when I do individual counseling in the hope that the other party will come, I help the individual to just fall in love with their own lives again and just reorientate themselves and to recognize that, yes, my love relationship is stagnant or tricky at the moment, but it doesn't mean it's my whole life.
Yes, yes. Are you able to say when you're counseling a couple that this monstrous individual next to you is not good for you? get rid of them right now?
So I first want to understand why the person is monstrous, because there's it's not such. I mean, you can if there's abuse, right, and there's no and the other person doesn't want to be in therapy, the abusive one doesn't want to be in therapy and doesn't want to do anything about it, then in the therapeutic space we come up with what is known as a safety plan. And a safety plan is, how do we help that person exit the relationship, should they want to, because that's also got to be a drive for them. I don't ever tell people what to do, in the sense of you got to leave him or you got to stay, or my opinion actually is irrelevant, because I work intuitively, and I feel like I can draw on what the Holy Spirit has for me that He wants me to share with a couple. But my role is more so that the couple can hear each other, and how do they become God aligned then to continue with what God wants for them in this world, because we're here to serve our community.
I mean, in a short while, I would want to ask you about narcissists. I'll ask you about people perhaps who don't necessarily want to change. I'd ask you about people who are so good that they are not going to be altered by counseling. But for now, it's exactly 11:30, and feel free to send those voice notes to 0727021702. Have you sought counseling in your relationship? Are you curious about whether you and your partner should consider couples counseling as we are speaking right now? Let us know on 0727021702. Bailey Dlamini standing by with Eyewitness News headlines. Good morning and welcome, Bailey.
Thanks, Thabo. Good morning. Despite former Minister Malusi Gigaba confirming that he's been summoned to appear in court on corruption charges, the investigating directorate against corruption says he has not been charged. Gigaba met with IDAC officials at the organization's Pretoria offices this morning in relation to alleged irregularities involving Transnet contracts during his tenure as Public Enterprises Minister between 2010 and 2014. Suspended head of EMPD Isaac Mapia has provided details of several crime cases involving members of a disbanded unit, including murder. Mapia is continuing with his testimony at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry sitting in Pretoria today. Mapia says there are at least 5 criminal cases registered against 3 members of the former SWAT unit. And 5 people have been killed as Typhoon Kalmagi slams into Vietnam after leaving a trail of destruction in the Philippines. The typhoon made landfall in the central Vietnam, bringing heavy wind and rain and damaging thousands of buildings in that region. Those are the headlines. This EWN and more at midday, or as it happens.
EWN Traffic.
Well, in the Kelvin area, we still have those roadworks slowing down traffic on the N3 northbound. That's between London Road and the Bethune to Change. Otherwise, the rest of 702 land looking really good. No serious accidents have been reported. However, look out for those faulty traffic lights in Edenville, Morafontein Road and Van Riebeek. Traffic lights also out of order in Randburg at Malibongo Drive and President Lucia. If you come across any other traffic issues, please WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
There's summer, and there's that extra summer with Vodacom's free gifts on summer deals. Like the new Honor X7D 256 gig on a 1 gig Redcore plan for just $299 per month over 36 months. And get a free Honor Watch 2i gift worth $999. Plus 5 gigs YouTube data for 3 months and free 2 months YouTube Premium. Now that's extra. Available in-store and online. T's and C's apply. Feather together. Vodacom.
In a world where everything is instant, some things are worth slowing down for. You took the time to build a life of distinction. Every moment, every milestone, every decision. At Indwe, we take the time to understand your world and craft insurance solutions to protect it. Because true peace of mind is the greatest luxury of all. The right insurance starts with a conversation. It starts with helloindwe.co.za. Indwe Risk Services is an authorized financial services provider.
Who says everyday driving can't be très chic? Rent premium with Sani 60 now. Own the stylish Citroen C3 later. Yes, that's 3 cars, 3 months, 3 chances to say ooh la la.
Just book directly on sani.co.za. Call us or rent at any branch between 1 November and 31 January, and you're automatically entered into the draw. Bon voyage with Sani Sixt and Win. T's and C's apply.
Let's walk the talk.
702.
7:02 indeed, 26 minutes to 12 o'clock. Relationship Focus every Friday, and today we are looking at when couples should seek counseling. Are you one of those who need counseling as soon as possible, and you have not thought about it up until now, or you have, but you are just wondering, where do I go, where do I start, and how do I tell this person that I think, babe, we need counseling? 011-883-0702. Thomas is on the line with us. Thomas, welcome.
Thank you, Thabo. And then good afternoon, good morning.
Morning.
Julie. Okay, I'm in a situation where I don't know if I need counseling or I just need an advice. So I've been with my wife for 12 years. Everything has been fine, but throughout these 12 years, there's been up and downs. Like she's one of those people who's like very stubborn. You can't tell her anything. Everything's always fine. Then you as a man, you always have to come and ask for forgiveness. So it got to a point where I'm really tired, and like I no longer feel the love anymore. Like even if when you love your person, every time when you see them, like you get this thing in you, like it's no longer there. It's dead, completely dead. But my problem now is that we have 3 kids. So deep down inside, I feel like also myself for like hanging on for that long. I think I wasted her time as well as a human being, and I also don't believe in staying apart from my kids because I want my kids to grow up next to me. So it got to a point where I want out, but I can't because of my kids. So, but the love is not there, so I don't know what to do. Like I'm stuck there.
Hey, the kids thing. Hey, that's a big one, because you're thinking, I want to be around my kids. I want to raise them. But you've lost love for this person. Lee?
So the picture that, hi Thomas, thank you so much for having the courage to phone in. And I'm so sorry that you're struggling in this way because it's really heartbreaking. The picture that I get is the relationship is a container, and it looks and sounds like the love is drained out of the container. But it doesn't mean to say that that's how it has to be. If there is still, that's why I encourage counseling, because there's sometimes people just need to get on page again and say, listen, you're not hearing me. When you do this, this is how I feel.
Yeah.
And this is serious. Like this has gotten to the point where I actually want to leave you. So if it's not something you're not prepared to look at, okay, cool, then we must move on.
Yeah.
But if you are willing to look at it, fantastic, because we've got family and we've got kids that we want to nurture and grow. I'm seeing more and more the research is showing that it is better to divorce if your children are in a toxic environment than to stay in a toxic environment, because the example that we show our children is that is a false reality of what a healthy relationship looks like. So whilst I don't advocate for divorce, I much rather would help a family and a couple get back on side and to start pouring love back into their relationship. If there's no shift and one party like narcissistic behavior or abusive behavior, and they're really not interested in changing their behavior, then I guess one does have to reconsider.
And do what you gotta do. Mulate, it's Melissa. Melissa, hi. You're in Pretoria. Hi.
Hi, how are you, Thabo, and your guest?
We are all chilled. How are you, Melissa?
I'm good, thank you. So in my experience, I've been to 2 different counselors in terms of couple counseling. And I've just found that in terms of counselors, where one party is more in the wrong, they always try to be so diplomatic. They do not actually say the issue and the cause of what is causing this relationship to break down is party A, this is what you are doing, and this is how partner B is feeling. So that for me became very discouraging. I mean, with one counselor, I just went for one session, And after that, I said, I'm not going back because I'm not getting the help that I want.
Yes.
The root cause of my problem in this relationship is what this person is doing. So for me, I just need them to put the hard truth for both parties there as well, so that we know, as each individual, we know where we're going wrong and how do we fix this.
Melissa, you've spot on. You'd rather someone says, Thabo, you're the problem. You are doing this and this and this and this. Then, hey, you guys must work on this. And I suppose that's one of my hesitations. I could be wrong, but that's one of my hesitations for not going to counsel, because I'm thinking it's all going to be rosy and kumbaya and we are all wrong and we are all right. But the expert is here. Lee will tell us. Lee,
Melissa,
where are we getting it wrong?
Hi, Melissa. Thanks for phoning in. A skilled therapist will never blame one party. Because both people create the dynamic. So there may be a way that the one partner is showing up and the other's not understanding it, or is frustrated or triggered, and thus it throws that couple into a loop. Number one. Number two, I don't know any counselor that would be very opinionated in a first session, because it's taken a couple a lot of courage to phone to book a session. Then it's taken them another truckload of courage to show up with their bums in the seats. So I wouldn't necessarily go hard. I wouldn't go in hard in a first session, because I need the couple to have a sense of being able to trust me and learn to trust me, and to learn to trust each other in that space, because they don't really trust each other, because they're going at hammer and tongs at home.
Yeah.
So they don't really want to get into a space where it's now shouting and screaming again. So it's the first session is really about creating a container and trying to understand what is it that I'm dealing with.
Sure.
What kind of situation am I dealing with? Couples counseling is not a quick fix.
Yeah.
People think I'm going to come for 1 or 2 sessions. We're going to talk about this one topic. The counselor is going to tell this other person how they're wrong, and they must listen.
Yeah.
They must get their stuff together, and then we're going to be fine.
Doesn't it work like that?
There's no magic bullets. There's no magic. If couples have come to me that've been married for 12 years, they've been in a relationship for 20, for argument's sake.
Yeah.
There's a whole host of negative patterns and loops that they've created over 12 years that we've got to re-engineer. We've got to first get back to ground zero of, okay, well, why did you guys get in a relationship? That's what I do in the first the first session. The first session is, how did you guys meet?
Oh my.
Tell me that story. Tell me how. And then they look at each other different, and then their hearts are open to hearing what the other person, because suddenly they see, it's like the scales fall off their eyes, and they're like, oh, there you are. There's the one that I fell in love with. That's the one that I miss.
Yeah.
And then I can take people on a gentle journey of, and sometimes I'm tough. They know I don't. I am quite tough.
Yeah.
And that's not everybody's game. Yeah, but I won't. I mean, I won't sit and listen to someone's nonsense.
Yeah.
If
people are playing games.
No, I'm. I do this for a living, but I don't do this for money. I do this because I'm passionate about building a strong society for all of us.
Certainly.
So if people are playing games, I'm very quick to
pick
point
it
that
up.
out.
Play elsewhere. Yeah. Mulatelo, you are in Randburg. Hi.
Hi, Thabo.
Morning.
Thank you so much for taking my call.
Thanks for calling.
Yes, it's Mulatelo, founder of Mulatelo Wellness. I'm coming as a therapist in support with the in-house therapist. I'm a social worker by profession.
Okay.
So, I'd like to comment that, yes, couple counseling is very important, especially when a relationship starts having issues. But it is very important for people to understand that for as long as you don't do a self-work journey, couple counseling might not work. You're going to go and see our gorgeous therapist who's going to see all the mistakes and give feedback. And you're not going to take it well. You're going to think, oh, the therapist is fighting with my partner, I'm not going back. So I am saying, and I'm coming with, people need to do self-work first, because some of the issues that comes in relationships are mostly because of how people were raised, childhood traumas, and mostly how their family background and how they were raised. And to heal that, like our therapist said, it takes a while. In a couple counseling, yes, you're going to go, they will tell you what are your mistakes, but if you don't go back as an individual, reflect and see what is the problem, it is definitely not going to work.
Sure. Molatelo, thanks very much. Really appreciate your call, Molatelo in Randburg there. Yeah, Lee, I think Molatelo agrees with what you're saying, but I want to put this on the table as well. A lot of men are hesitant to go to counseling, couples counseling. It could be, the reasons could be plenty, I imagine, and I don't want to venture into some. Equally so, I am assuming, anecdotally that is, that there would be a more number of black men who are prone not to go to counseling as well. And some have said that has somehow impacted on the society negatively. I don't want to preempt you. I just want to leave it at that and hear what you have to think.
Yeah, absolutely. I think culturally, if we understand the background of how Black African people have been raised, you had the tribal system where if there was a difficulty within a relationship, it went to the family. The family dealt with it. And then, the church came along, and then it became the pastor that dealt with it. So it's understanding the cultural elements of how we've been raised, right? And how you guys have been raised. I think also even in the white communities and colored and Indian communities, a man that shows his emotion is seen as a weak man.
Yes.
And so if you bring someone into counseling, you're showing their weakness. So and actually what has actually happened is that partners have come to respect their men even more because they've been able to be vulnerable, because it's actually a strength.
Yeah.
So I must be honest, I don't have, the majority of people that come and see me are white.
Yeah.
That it is, and I think that's because it's culturally more accepted, or we've been educated in that way for a longer period.
No, but I mean, it also makes sense because there would be some cultural nuances that I would assume you'd miss in my setup as opposed to someone who'd get that. But when we come back, I just want us to speak about AI and how it's impacting the counseling space. Is it taking your jobs and self-diagnosis through AI and everything of the sort? 14 minutes to 12.
Aubrey Masango.
Weekday evenings,
8 to midnight.
Dr. Dale McKinley, political economist. Should South Africa be part of the G20 and why?
Yes, South Africa, we're the largest economy along with Nigeria on the African continent. We have played a particular kind of geopolitical role over the last 30 years, irrespective of all our problems. Yes, we do belong in the G20. I don't see any reason why South Africa would not be in it, because if you want to basically, which is what Donald Trump wants to do, he wants to basically write off Africa as an entire entity in the global stakes.
Aubrey Masango.
8 to midnight on 702.
702.
This festive, when your family gathers, feed them the Nando's Festive Fill-Up meal. Feed Auntie, who's in charge of the key to that storeroom. And feed that niece that makes the strict grandparents do TikTok challenges. Huh? And that cousin that watches the same movie that comes in part 1, 2, 3, 4, and many more. Yeah, you can feed it too. Gather them all for the Nando's Festive Fill-Up meal for only $3.99. Eat at Nando's and pay 40 Rand less. Nando's, oh, what a place.
To walk the talk is to turn words into meaningful actions. And it's what we at 702 are committed to doing every day. We're also committed to following the rules set out by the Broadcasting Complaints Commission's Code of Conduct. To give you balanced programming, fair comment, and accurate news. But if we stumble along the way and you feel we're not living up to the code, let us know on comment@702.co.za. And if after that you're still not happy, you can direct your complaint in writing to the Broadcasting Complaints Commission, PO Box 412365, Craig Hall 2024. For more, visit bccsa.co.za.
Standard Bank and 702 have joined forces to bring you China Unlocked.
So Africa-China Trade Solutions composes of both helping our clients with importing from China, but also with exporting to China. And that's what really encompasses our X solution. And how we help our clients access the Chinese market is by doing it through a number of ways. One of those is digitally connecting them to better Chinese buyers. We also organize B2B matchmaking sessions, virtual, some are hybrid. And when we attend some of the flagship shows, such as CIE, we also organize these physical, in-person B2B matchmaking with these Chinese buyers.
Don't miss China Unlocked on 702 Drive with John Perlman. Tuesdays on 702. Brought to you by Standard Bank Business and Commercial, an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
702
Let's walk the talk on 92.7
and 106 FM.
011-883-0702. Litra is my guest. She's a relationship coach. Let's go straight to a call. Barry, you're in Val. Hi.
Good morning, Thabo. How are you?
Good on you, Barry.
Listen, I just want to give another perspective. When I was married, we also went for marriage counselling, and when you sit into the counselling room, then obviously I deal my feelings, she deals her feelings, and then everything is fine. You need to sit there and listen and actually take in what is being taken from each side. But what I want to mention now is normally when we actually left there was more fights going home afterwards, and we went for about 6 sessions, and every time there were just fights afterwards because I mentioned something that she didn't like, and so that's also something you need to take into consideration. And it's not nice, but it's a way of actually working through it. But it all depends on how you take it, and eventually we actually got divorced. But I just want to mention that as well.
Interesting take, and thanks for opening up, Barry. But and I love how pragmatic that is. You're not beating about the bush, and that's what couples go through generally. Why would you say that? I thought you forgot about that. I thought you forgave me or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah. Barry, thanks for that, man. Appreciate it. Barry and Val. Lee?
So I love that. Thank you so much, Barry. The a number of things that I speak to my clients about in the first session is, number one, please can you go home in silence? And I actually encourage you to come in separate cars. I'll tell you why, is because two things. One is while the couple are getting to know me, they are scared that I'm going to judge them based on what their partner said. So they feel humiliated by their partner telling me what's going on within their relationship. And only with time do they see that I don't judge them.
Yes.
But that does take time. Yeah. Secondly, there's a phenomenon called a vulnerability hangover. Yeah. So when one's been vulnerable, you feel very exposed. And so there might be frustration or the humiliation or embarrassment of the topic that was spoken to in front of another person. There's levels of trust that the one partner may feel, okay, in about 3 sessions time or in a little bit time, I can bring up this topic. And suddenly the partner brings up that topic and they're not ready to talk about that topic because they're feeling a little bit more guarded with regards to being in the session with me. And also from past experience, right? The couples, if they've brought up a topic, the other ones jump down their throats and smack them on the head with a sledgehammer. So it's unlearning all those things. So it's a very vulnerable process. And I feel very honored to be in the room with a couple to help them navigate being more loving and kind to each other. Yeah. But I do suggest people go in separate cars back home.
I love that. Before we forget, let's touch on AI quickly because we're going to run out of time in the next few minutes.
So, yes, it's been really interesting. I had a client come see me, and he sent me this curated message of what he'd like to get out of therapy. And I was like, I hadn't even met the guy yet. And he was sending me a whole plan, like a whole treatment plan. Yeah. So I sat down with him. I had a chat with him. The next time he came, he sent me a message about what he had gotten from the therapy. But it was all curated. I could see it was written by AI. So I sat down in the second session and I was like, dude, I'm not going to read this. Yeah. I want to sit with, talk to me. Yes. Tell me how you're doing.
I want to hear from you.
What's going on?
Yeah.
He was struggling. He'd fallen in love with a lady and he'd gone and posted their WhatsApp messages into AI, and AI had given him the suggestion to give her space.
Whoa.
And after like 2 sessions, I was like something, because my as a therapist, I'm like, no, dude, go speak to her. Her messages aren't clear enough.
Yes.
They're not giving you a real insight into who she is and what she's wanting. Go sit and have a coffee with her. You love her. You want to marry her one day. Be the man and go and hunt her, and go and talk to her. And he refused. And then I realized, I said, what did AI say to you?
Yeah.
And he said, no, AI said he mustn't. He must give her space. So I realized that that's actually quite terrifying, that AI is creating separation in people and not creating connection.
Yeah.
So there's some things that AI does really well, right? There's scalability. So it can help a whole lot of people at the same time. Yes. It gives people access to help immediately. You can go online immediately and ask for help. The concern is the help that you're getting is not necessarily true and correct. It can process a whole lot of data, but what it's comparing its data to is not necessarily correct either.
Yes.
It doesn't get tired. They say that AI is not biased, but I think it is biased. I think it leans towards the data that it has online, and that makes it biased. It doesn't hold both parties. And couples counseling, you feeding into, I've had so many people do this. They feed in their argument into AI, and then they come and tell me the argument that AI's come back with, what AI said to them about their argument. But I'm like, but you're arguing with AI. You're not talking to your partner about it. So there's, there are ways that I use AI in my business that is collaborative. So obviously, like automation, there are processes that I can do, like invoicing and these kinds of things. I haven't done it yet, but I see that counselors do it. They help. AI helps them with creating treatment plans and journal prompts and stuff like that. And there's beautiful meditations and prayers and stuff online that one can use. But it definitely needs to be a supplementary go-to. It can't be a replacement. And I'm because we're human, right? And they talk about AI versus HI. Yeah. So human intelligence versus artificial. So we as humans are empathic. Like I can sit, even if I'm working online, Thabo, I want to see my clients because I want to see how they're looking at me. What is their eye, where their eyes going? What's their body language? What is their tone? If they're distressed, to what level are they distressed? You can't pick that up in AI.
Certainly.
No.
We almost at the end, and I mean, I use AI only when I need to. I stopped using AI when I realized that for my schoolwork, it was referring me to non-existent references, completely non-existent. And I thought, hey, what's going on? What is really going on here? Then I thought, and I was also searching because I just wanted to get the framework of that stuff. But Lee, your numbers quickly, your contact details before people slash my throat.
Thank you for today. It was so beautiful. My WhatsApp number is 079 525 8991, and then my email, at least my website, is www.leighojoy.co.za, and I've taken a break from social media.
Oh, fantastic. Lee Joy, relationship coach, fantastic human being, and I really enjoyed it. All the best to you, Lee. 3 minutes to 12.
I'm Samela Kilboy, an actress and mom to 3 lovely kids. I worry about how sugar can make them sick. Drinking sugary drinks could lead to diabetes, heart disease, and obesity as they get older. Diabetes is one of the top causes of death in South Africa. I'm joining the fight to demand government puts our health ahead of greedy industry profits. Government must act now. Protect public health. Increase the health tax on sugary drinks, tobacco, and alcohol. Sign the petition on heala.org. That's HEALA.org.
Here at Betway, we're finding every way possible to make sure you can win your next sports bet. With our new Bet Saver feature, you could get your stake back or more on bets with multiple losses. Stand to win, even when your bet misses. Bet Saver, exclusive to Betway. Terms and conditions apply. Betway is licensed and regulated by the Western Cape Gambling and Racing Board. No persons under the age of 18 are permitted to gamble. South African Responsible Gambling Program toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710. Winners know when to stop.
Mr. Govender, congrats on the retirement. You just sold your car to We Buy Cars. Tell us about it.
Yes, it just gathered dust in the garage, so I exchanged it for cold hard cash. Now my wife and I can enjoy a stress-free retirement.
Retiring the car as you retire. Nice. So why We Buy Cars?
It was so quick. They came over to our house to do the evaluation, and we sold it the same day. Tops, man.
Okay, so now you got even more time on your hands, eh?
Exactly.
We Buy Cars. Geared for your next chapter. Geared for you.
Coming up
On the Midday Report
with Mandy Wiener.
And she's here between 12 and 1, Mandy Wiener. And Midday Report is what she'll give to us. Mandy, happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Look at you.
Look at me.
I'm so impressed.
Fast learner.
Very impressed.
How are you doing? What's coming up on the show?
So lots of breaking news this morning. Malusi Gigaba was going to appear in court. He's not going to appear in court now. So he hasn't been officially charged. That's been set for a later date, but we'll find out about that. The police minister, Senzo Mkunu, has handed his devices over to the KZN Political Killings Task Team. The suspended EMPD chief is back at the Madlanga inquiry today. In Durban, there's a march called March and March. Okay. I was so confused.
Okay.
It's called March and March.
Yeah.
March and March against illegal foreigners in Durban. And it's Friday.
Sports.
And
good things too.
Woo, finally.
It's 12 o'clock.
This is EWN.
Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. Despite former Minister Malusi Gigaba confirming that has been summoned to appear in court on corruption charges, the investigating directorate against corruption says he has not been charged. Gigaba met with IDAC officials